Good evening. Welcome to the first edition of the European Startup Prize for Mobility. This is the first edition, hopefully, out of many. My name is Dan Sobowitz, and I'll be your host for tonight. We have a very rich evening ahead of us. We'll be hearing from commissioners, from CEOs, from ministers, from explorers, even from one UN envoy who's a famous former Formula One driver. But most importantly, we are here because 10 startups have been selected as finalists out of almost 500 from all across Europe to come here and to pitch tonight, and for us and for the judges to choose who will be this year's winners of the EU Startup Prize. Now, no one will be a loser tonight because all 10 are going to travel across Europe to 4 different European destinations to present their technologies. So sit back, but please don't relax. You have a lot of work to do tonight as the audience here. First, we're live on Facebook, so there are also people watching us from home. Of course, there's a Twitter wall right there, and we have a hashtag EUSP for mobility. After each of the pitches, I'll also invite you to vote what you thought about them, but I'll explain that as we get there. And of course, there are so many brilliant minds in the room tonight that it's also an opportunity for you to network with each other. There will be some bubbles and some food afterwards. But in order to find out who's in the room and who you might be interested in, if you haven't done so yet, there's an app, the European Startup Prize Mobility app, both on iOS and on Android. Even if you traveled from somewhere else in Europe, there's no problem. We have free roaming in Europe, so you can still download it. And that would allow you, just like on any other dating site, you can slide right or left, and if somebody wants to talk to you, and if they want to have a little champagne date with you afterwards, that would allow you to do it. It would also allow you to see the tweets, and it would allow you to vote. So I'm studying the app. Before we start the evening, I'd like to thank the European Parliament and the European Commission for offering their patronage for us tonight. I'd like to thank our co-founders, the Boston Consulting Group and Via ID. I'd like to thank our European partners, Europcar, GRDF, Grimaldi, Groupe ADP, our partners, Carbon 4, Secra, Ertico, Eurotunnel, Molengeek, Numa, Oscaro, Parallel, Groupe RATP, SNCF, and UJET. So there's quite a few of them. Yes. And finally, let me also thank our graphic designers, les Improductibles. Let me thank Sésame. Yes, they all deserve it. Sésame, who helped us circulate the word to startups around Europe so that they can apply. And let me also thank your agency for the work on PR. So as you can see, many people were involved in this big production. But there's one person who started the whole thing. And that person would like to say a word of hello to you. And I'm referring to the chairwoman of the Transport and Tourism Committee of the European Parliament, Karima Delli. Please join us to say hello. But before you say hello, a little favor to ask you. Wait a second. We're going to do a little selfie with the audience.
Just one?
Come on, just one.
Just one. It better be good, huh?
We're not exactly up. Let's do also a little video so we see the whole building. Wait a second.
Does that work?
That does work. Everything works tonight.
Okay.
Voila. And the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, hello everybody. Thank you for coming here today to celebrate the first edition of the European Startup Prize for Mobility. We are here today to spotlight the future leader in Europe. So I'm very proud to welcome such a prestigious group of people to support this prize, including the European Commission, in particular, Mrs. Bulc, Violeta, my dear, not colleague, friend. Thank you to be here. The European Parliament. I don't know if my colleague Wim van der Kamp is here. Come on, thank you, Wim. Yeah, we have a lot of public, private partners, expert of the jury. Where is the godfather of this prize, Mr. Mazzella? Where is he? I don't know where is he. And we have 3 special guests. Mr. Bertrand Picard, thank you to be here. Mr. Jean Todt, I don't know where is he, Mr. Jean Todt.
I'm being told now that he's on his way in 5 minutes.
Okay, great. and the last but not the least, the French Minister of the Digital, Mr. Mounir Majouli. Yeah, so really, thank you for trusting us to make this prize a success, really. So, did you know 60% of all European startups are building solution, products, and innovation for mobility? Yes, that's the reason why our ambitious is to connect 28 European tech hubs, because it's now to prove Europe is a new playground for innovation. Because in Europe, we have everything to create tomorrow European Silicon Valley, including local authorities, universities, partners, accelerators, VCs. So, ladies and gentlemen, please remember, this prize is not just a piece of paper. This prize is a revolution, and this revolution starts with you tonight. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Karima. And without further ado, I would like to invite our keynote speaker for this evening. Commissioner Violeta Bulc is the First Lady of Transport of the European Commission, and she's one of the main sponsors of this award. She's also not your typical politician. She's a fully fledged geek commissioner. She studied electrical engineering and IT in Ljubljana and San Francisco. She worked for many years as an entrepreneur and a business lady in the technology sector. And you'll notice the strong presence of influential women in the European politics tonight. Commissioner, I invite you to take the floor.
Thank you very much. It's really exciting to be here and to be part of this great idea that Karima started and invited us all in. And it took us exactly 0 seconds to say yes, for really obvious reasons. First of all, being a politician and not really being engaged in the emergence of new, it's a very dangerous thing. And especially for me, that I just ended up in politics by coincidence, and being an entrepreneur and startup myself in my previous life, I was looking for the way how to bring this exciting, turbulent energy into the policy making as well, into the ecosystem of European transport. And I'm really grateful, Karima, that you had stamina and energy to bring us all here now, and that we can start with this movement that I hope is really just the first important step. And it's not only exciting because two women decided to do that, because this is really a whole sort of wave of European Parliament and the Commission that is sticking together. And as I can see now, member states are on board as well. So we will really have an opportunity together with Wim, Karima, ministers, and the commissioners to support and to bring these fresh, exciting new views into European transport and mobility as a concept. Why is this important? Because there is so much right now happening out there. Transport is reshaping and reinventing itself. The fourth generation of technologies, the fourth industrial revolution, as we call it, is not only about technology. It's about understanding also social frameworks in a new way. Just think about the blockchains and the concept behind the blockchains. And if we use them right, this will really reshape the way how mobility is put together. If we just think about new digital opportunities that are coming through integrated ticketing and integrated logistics systems, this is a whole new ballgame. and the whole new way how the stakeholders are interacting, the way how stakeholders are generating value, and how a broader communities and broader societies can be included in this overall mobility concept of the future. And let me just mention a couple of exciting things that are happening right now where I hope to see you being engaged tomorrow as well. We're creating a new concept of urban aviation space. The first time ever. We just published today the first set of implementing rules. And by 2019, we want to have operational urban aviation space where drones and flying cars are becoming a reality, and they are really contributing to a safer, cleaner, and of course, more efficient mobility, especially in urban areas. I want to see you being engaged in that. Just think about connected, cooperative, and autonomous driving, and everything that this brings to the concept of urban mobility and also the concept of mobility as a whole. And there is so much that we still have to agree on. So we need you on board because you have this sense of emergence of new at the edge of everything that we know. And we need this input to really think about future in a more bold way and not to look only back at the past when we create our regulatory frameworks, when we push for new standards. And we need innovation also in the concept of understanding what legislation is all about. We just tested it a little bit for drones when we moved away from technical legislation to more service-based regulation. Because technology is changing so fast that we cannot catch up with it anymore. And if we want to be proactive and not an obstacle, but a driver of change, then we need to have new concepts on this level as well. So please come on board and not think only about technology, but also about business models, social models that come along. And that is an incredible innovation as well. So that's why this evening is so exciting. And not to only price and use the words, I know that every time with innovation, especially with startups and SMEs, it's important also how we contribute, especially in a sense of investments to this community. And let me just share a couple of information with you. Even today already, European Commission gives about 80 million per year through Horizon 2020, which is earmarked for SMEs. And there are three important topics that I hope you will pick them up and get engaged with that are part of this investment. First, we contribute to feasibility studies, 100% actually. And we have two good examples that use this. For example, finalists, Best Me, and you can ask them. They will share information with you, how that helped them to really get their business idea clearer and how they use this money to create their own future. The other way how you can get support is through business projects. And here we are contributing up to 2.5 million euros. So 70% comes from European Commission if you have a good idea. But you need to put together 30%. And again, you have a good example of that among the finalists. Voltia used that and got 500,000 euros of contribution for their project. So talk to them, learn from them what that meant for them in a sense of business scalability and business project kickoff. So I hope you will be encouraged and work with us and really help us to create the future of mobility. As I share completely the passion of Karima and hopefully all of you, and that this becomes a very important future gathering where we co-shape the future of mobility in Europe. And don't forget, currently mobility is providing 11 million jobs in the EU. Only in the last 3 years, we were able to invest 200 billion euros in European mobility. These are big figures. And we contribute to between 1.6 to up to 4% of GDP when investments are used right. So it is a great community, and it's good that we are expanding the family, that we're bringing this very interesting new impulse, fresh and very bold. And I'm really, really looking forward to our meeting next year when I will still be a commissioner and I will be able to see the progress and I'll be able to contribute hopefully a little bit more to this community that it can serve to the best possible way. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your patronage and for being here tonight. And our next speaker, indeed, as I promised earlier, Mr. Jean Todt, had a fascinating journey from being a rally driver to being the UN Special Envoy for Road Safety. That is very innovative, I have to say. In between, he also held top managerial roles in the automobile industry and other forms of mobility. Mr. Todt is going to join us, but first we're going to watch a very short film. I invite you to take your floor, and we're going to watch your film right before.
Every day, over 3,000 people lose their life.
More than 1.2 million lives per year.
50 million more are injured.
Tragically, every single day, 500 children die on the world's roads, on the way to school or just out playing with friends.
Hi, I'm Fernando Alonso.
Bonjour, c'est Antoine Griezmann.
Olá, sou Felipe Massa.
I'm Michelle Yeoh.
I'm Wade van Niekerk.
I am Haile Gebrselassie.
I'm Mar Marquez.
Ana Hidalgo.
I'm Nico Rosberg.
I'm Vanessa Lay.
Cada día, 3.500 personas pierden la vida en la carretera.
From the ages of 15 to 29, one of the biggest causes of fatalities is actually road incidents. When you go out with friends, please remember that even just one drink can be a big risk to you having a big road accident.
Think of those around you. Don't let them drink and drive.
Whether you're a driver or passenger, don't take any risk. Seat belts can make the difference between life and death.
And the last thing you want to do is be in an accident at the hands of, someone who is texting, or to actually cause an accident because you yourself were texting.
Tout peut se jouer en une seconde. N'hésitez pas à vous arrêter, dormez un peu avant de reprendre la route.
So many lives that has been lost over the years because of what? Speeding. Leave the speeding to me. Listen, if you're going somewhere and you're late, you're already late. Don't try to force it.
O sea que mi única recomendación es que cuando entremos al coche pues estemos totalmente centrados en lo que estamos haciendo.
When you're in a car, make sure you use a safety seat for children. If you're on a bike, make sure to use a helmet.
Helmets protect the most important part of your body. As a professional rider, I never ride a bike without the helmet. So you must to use the helmet always when you ride a bike.
Well, it's so important when you listen music and when you have your mobile phone to really follow what's happening in the street, because it's so easy to maybe lose your life because you're not concentrating on the road.
As a professional athlete, I can't succeed if I'm distracted, and so goes for drivers and pedestrians.
So make sure to pay attention. Use pedestrian footpaths and crossing when possible. And stay visible by wearing reflective clothing.
By following simple rules, you can help save your life and the lives of others.
Cuento con que todos apoyen el manifiesto de la FIA para la seguridad vial mundial en fia.com.
Dear Violeta, dear Karima, ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, it's my pleasure to be here tonight with you in the Bibliothèque Solvay and listening to the inspiring presentation from Violeta. It comforts me in the belief that we are in the changing world and we cannot longer stick to the current scenario, and that we must find innovative solutions that will benefit both the planet and the whole society. The European Startup Prize is an excellent example of how to identify leading ideas in the mobility field and support their further growth and sophistications. Innovation in mobility are meant to optimize and enhance the way we reach our destinations. They are also meant to tackle some of the pressing issues we face in modern transport systems, of which road safety, which remains one of the biggest hurdles and one of the world's leading causes of death. We all know the numbers. 1.25 million lives lost every year on the road. That means 3,500 lives every day, and up to an estimated of 50 million people injured. But the outlook is even more startling when we take into account increasing urbanization trends. Bearing in mind that most fatal crashes happen in urban areas, where 63% of the global population will live by 2050, road safety hazards are set to grow even further if no appropriate actions are undertaken. This is a challenge we cannot back down. No longer can we accept the scourge taking place all over the world. To tackle this global public health crisis, since 2004, the UN General Assembly adopted several resolutions on improving road safety, calling for action, but in reality, nothing spectacular has happened. Global road safety received a further boost with 2 targets included in the UN SDG, and I will be honest, these are very ambitious targets, but they still need to be achieved. So innovation is crucial to improving the global road safety performance. The need to find solutions drives this innovation. Firstly, innovation can be scientific, technological. At the last World Economic Forum in Davos, the FIA presented together with the ICM, the Brain and Spinal Cord Institute, the Emotive Company, and former Formula One world champion Nico Rosberg, an innovation that allows to measure the brain activity while driving, to study the risk of distraction and reduce the risk of crashes. We are at the experimental stage, but it is a new way forward. This is also a political and economic dimension to innovation. It must bring the leaders of the different countries to make concrete progress. So thank you to all the decision makers here tonight, from the Commission and the Parliament here, for your commitment to road safety, which is guiding the European Union in the right direction. More innovative policy making can help better tackle existing road safety challenges. Strong commitment from political leaders is essential. They need to focus on improving road safety by innovating their regulatory frameworks and applying solutions like the safe system approach. This means a commitment to effective road safety legislation, which is properly enforced, safer roads, vehicles and drivers, and better post-crash care. We have seen in high-income countries and regions like Australia, Europe, Japan, US, that rapid progress is possible when such measures correspond to local needs and when politicians remain open-minded towards new tools and solutions available to mitigate existing threats. Some of these solutions come from the entrepreneurial field, and this trend should grow even further. When we speak about innovation, we can't but mention the funding mechanism available to address the road safety targets. Underfinancing, particularly in developing countries, remains a serious issue, which requires more innovative solutions and cooperation between diverse groups of stakeholders. HIV/AIDS, tuberculosis, or malaria generate up to 1,000 times more financial aid than road safety. Yet, they all share similar fatality rates. While these other worthwhile causes are able to generate billions of dollars in funding every year, road safety remains unfortunately far behind. So I have good news to announce to you, and it's a financial innovation. I'm happy to report that recently, road safety had a major win with the UN Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, supporting the next steps in the establishment of a UN Road Safety Fund. This fund can contribute to closing the significant funding gap between those reserved for road safety and other global public health issues. I hope that it will help to catalyze global and national investment at the level needed to adequately address road safety. As many of you are aware, in addition to being the president of the FIA, the International Automobile Federation, I also have the honor to be the UN Secretary General Special Envoy for Road Safety. And it's my role to ensure that new financial mechanisms to fund road safety programs are activated. New global partnerships are relevant and effective. UN road safety legal instruments are recognized and ratified by more states around the world, and that governments, civil society, and the private sector seek for stronger cooperation when addressing road safety. To be successful, more collaboration and new forms of partnership are essential. This brings me back to the agenda of the day and the question of how new entrepreneurial ideas can change the paradigm of mobility. I personally wish to think that the mobility of tomorrow is smart, multimodal, offering new business opportunities and new user experiences to all the citizens. Startups are the heart of these projections, and it is important to identify and encourage ideas that can benefit governments, private sectors, global institutions, and communities. More than ever, we should encourage creative minds to be involved in advancing the promises of the sustainability agenda and sustainable mobility in particular. To achieve this, we need to establish and strengthen networks that provide opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs and innovators to learn from like-minded groups and share experience. We should also ensure stronger support and mentorship of the industry. Looking at the list of partners of the European Startup Prize, I realize that we are on the right track. Big industry players should continue to bring together their resources, financial means, and influence to push forward the future mobility champions. Last but not least, innovation must be above all human. We need to change our behaviors on the roads all over the world to save lives. That's why prevention, especially for young people, is fundamental. That's why in the FIA we launched the worldwide 3,000 Life campaign, which you saw a few minutes ago. The film just summarized at the press conference for the launch of this campaign, and I was happy to have Violeta with us in Paris, including also the High Commissioner of Human Rights, Zaid Al-Hussein, who said road safety is a human right. And by the end of the year, it will have been rolled out in 30 different languages and deployed in 900 cities in 80 countries around the world, making it the largest campaign on this theme ever broadcast for worldwide. This is an example of innovation to change behavior of the road. Another FIA initiative, we have embarked on this path by creating the Smart City programs, which serves as a platform to discuss the future of sustainable mobility. Startup competition is one of the components of the initiative, and its target is to connect the startup community with key mobility stakeholders, including city authorities, investors, technology suppliers, and international organizations. To conclude, I would like to underline that the way we use new opportunities and innovative solutions today define the realms of mobility that we all will face tomorrow. We should not be afraid of change and transformation as far as mobility is concerned. But at the same time, we must be aware of the persistent problems requiring immediate effect and immediate action. By decreasing the number of fatalities on the road, by creating more resilient and smart urban infrastructure, by unlocking new technologies, we can ensure that the future of mobility is sustainable, safe, and inclusive. We will achieve sustainable mobility for all And I am sure that events like tonight will help to understand better the situation and to get even more motivation to reach our goal, which is to halve the number of victims on the road by 2020. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Special Envoy Todd. Our next speaker is a dreamer. He's someone who turned science fiction into science fact. He was the first person to go all around the world in his plane without a drop of oil. His journey was followed by millions around the world and inspired millions more. He's here to inspire us tonight. Professor Bertrand Piccard, please.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. When I went 16 years ago to the aeronautic industry, and I told them that I wanted a solar-powered airplane that could fly around the world without a single drop of fuel. They looked at me and they said, "It's impossible. You are just crazy to imagine you can do something like that." And I said, "Why?" And they said, "Because it takes 5 minutes to calculate that the energy of the sun is not enough to drive an airplane day and night." The lesson of this, when you see that we have been hugely successful, is to analyze all the steps from the moment that something seems to be impossible until the moment that it is a success. The first step is to understand that the impossible exists only in the head of the people who believe that the future is an extrapolation of the past. The impossible does not exist in the reality. The impossible is the result of our mindset, of the paradigms that we have accumulated through years of experience and knowledge, but not through years of creativity and innovation. So what did we have to do after being told that it was impossible? We had to change the paradigm. Of course, if we have not enough energy from the sun, we cannot turn on the sun higher. So we need to decrease the consumption of the plane. And this was not 5 minutes to do it, it was several years. We needed to build an airplane that had the wingspan of a jumbo jet, Boeing 747, weighing the same weight than a family car, and having the speed and the power of a motorcycle. This was the paradigm shift. And this, I believe, is what we have to understand in our society today. We will never survive by producing more energy. We will survive by being more energy efficient, by saving natural resources, by using the new technologies in order to be at the same time more environmental friendly and more profitable. And I say more profitable on purpose because for a long time the green policy has said we have to reduce mobility, reduce our comfort, reduce our consumption. And it has created more resistance than support. So it's clear that today we need to involve the industry. We need to involve the political world. We need to involve the most symbolic part of our life, which is mobility. And we have to show that the adventure continues. We have to show that we can take it further. This is what we wanted to show when we succeeded after our flight around the world. Take it further. So for the aviation world, it's very funny because all the people who told me it was impossible, who were laughing and telling their CEOs, these guys will crash, now they went back to their CEOs and we absolutely have to develop electric airplane programs. And they all work on it, big or small companies. But if we want to continue and give access to energy efficiency, give access to environmental protection to more people, we here, who know the importance of mobility, have to include energy efficiency in everything we do. And can you imagine that in the time of electric aviation, we are still using combustion engines which are 120 years old? So we want the latest smartphone, the latest computer, but we have the oldest type of engines for our cars. We have insulations for houses that date of 100 years. Light bulbs and heating systems that were invented in 1880. Is this innovation? Of course not. So today we have all the solutions. All the solutions exist to divide by 2 the energy consumption of the world, and therefore reduce very significantly the CO2 emissions. Why don't we use them? We don't use them because they are stuck in research labs, in startups, maybe like yours, even in big companies. But they don't make it through the market because we have a tendency in our world to push innovation and not to pull it. Pushing innovation, that means that we put a lot of public money for subsidies in order to obtain patents. Beautiful. But where do these patents go? Very often we don't know. What we need to do is not only push innovation, but we need to pull it. To pull it by creating a need in our society to use these innovations. And today, as long as the legal framework is laid back, complacent, as long as it is allowed to pollute and to be inefficient, you can work as much as you want, but your innovations will not come on the market. They will give you a prize, they will give you a patent, they will give you glory for an evening, but they will not make it to the market. We have to work very closely with the political world to give them the courage to adapt the legal framework to the reality of what exists today. This is what the Solar Impulse Foundation wants to help to do. Take it further. That meant for us to create the World Alliance for Efficient Solutions and to federate all the startups or companies who have solutions that exist and that are not used enough. We want to give them access for free. It's completely for free. It's a non-for-profit. Give them access for free to experts who can validate the credibility of their solutions, bring them in contact with investors in order to allow them to grow, and to get to a stage, hopefully by the end of this year, where we will have 1,000 solutions with a label, not only efficient and environmental friendly, but profitable. I believe it's the first time that the criteria of profitability will be integrated into the ecological criteria. And why is it so important? Because we need to be able to speak to the industry. We even need to speak to the people who deny climate change and tell them, even if you don't want to be ecological, you can be logical. You can use new technologies. You can use the result of the innovation. And if the legal framework is very ambitious in terms of environmental targets and in terms of energy policy, we will be in a stage where it will be almost mandatory to use innovation in order to comply with the rules. Mandatory to use innovation. Can you imagine the paradise for all of us? For all of you? For all the innovators who will make it to the market and who will make a very significant change. Not only protecting the environment, but creating jobs and making profits. In a way, to introduce a clean growth, which is much better than the dirty status quo that we have usually. It means that we can keep our lifestyle, keep our mobility, keep our comfort, keep our quality of life, keep growth, but for half the emissions of CO2 and dividing by 2 the waste of energy that is caused by the inefficient systems of today. So you see how much innovation is needed, but how much, as innovators, we need the courage of the political world to make an ambitious legal framework that will pull innovation. This is what I deeply hope, and we all have to go for it with my friends at the European Commission who work very hard to do it, but we have to show to the rest of the world that it's possible, and we count on you. Thank you. Good luck.
We are progressing slowly towards the pitching part, but before that, we would like to hear from the three partners that came together to make this award happen, what went through their minds when it all started. That's why I'd like to invite, once again, Karima Delli. I presented you only by title, but let me tell you that she is also not an average politician. I would like to call her as Doogie Howser of European politics because she's one of the youngest, and yet she was mentioned by Politico last year as the 14th most influential MEP in the European Parliament. So, Madame la Présidente, joining us is Jean-François Dinault, the head of strategy marketing incubators at Via ID. I don't know how you fit all of that into your business card or when you have lunch, but that's all the things you do. And the third partner who's already coming on stage, Joël Azan, partner and managing director at the Boston Consulting Group. And you are also a fellow at the BCG Henderson Institute, where you focus on mobility of the future. I'm going to maybe take this chair here. Can we have a technician to help us here? And you can actually use the microphone that's on the table. Hi, Karima. Hi. Welcome on stage. I'd like to ask you, where did this idea come from? But you don't have a microphone, so let's see if it's on.
Hello?
Yes.
Yeah. After attending many tech events in Europe, with my assistant, I don't know where is he, Grégory Merli, yeah.
Hi, Greg.
Yeah, hi, Grégory.
I know him.
I know. We realized that a lot of entrepreneurs were looking to move their business to United States. And I was very sad, really. That's the reason why, because they did not believe they had a chance to succeed here in Europe. Mm-hmm. And with my team, Emile, Aude, Guillaume, Maggie, Emmanuel, we wanted to prove that Europe is a new opportunity to make the startup dreams come true. That's the reason why I decided to create this prize with BCG and Via ID. And now I'm so grateful that the European Commission and the Parliament, in particular, Violeta Bulc, and in particular, my coordinators in the Transport Committee, who were quick support this concrete initiative. So
that's how it went from an idea into reality.
Yeah.
Okay. And did it live up to your expectations?
Not at all. It succeeded our expectation.
So really. It went beyond your expectations.
Yeah. I'm very impressed by the volume, by the quality, by the diversity of application we received from the first edition, really. So, yes, at this moment we are very happy.
You're happy tonight?
Yeah, I'm very happy tonight, but it's the first edition. Okay. I believe we can think about the second.
Many more.
Yeah, many more. Second or third edition.
Will you keep me as your host next year?
I hope.
I hope so too. Okay. Jean-François, I don't know if you have a microphone. Yes. Maybe you can tell us why it was interesting for Via ID to join this particular prize.
So, does it work?
Is it on?
No. Yes. Yeah,
so
when Karima told us about this project, there was a real strong fit with what we do at VID. VID is an incubator and an accelerator specialized on mobility startups in Europe, in US, and in Asia. So the goal of Karima was just to make those startups to find the new playground. The new playground for them is Europe and not only their countries, and that's an issue that we face every day with the startups that we meet. Europe, if you think in Europe only in your own country is too small, and that's a big difference that we face with the Silicon Valley and other startup nation. When you are strong in your country, it's not enough. So we have to help them to go through Europe and to be as strong as other startups around the world to accelerate them.
Enjoy the advantages of the 500 million people market of the European Union. Let me ask you a second question about the particularities of the transport sector, because you've seen many startups rise and fall. You follow them, you advise them. What is unique now this evening, particularly to innovation in mobility? Sorry.
Yes, this sector is really special, and this price is really special. We have startups, we have corporate, we have territories and institutions, and it's the way that mobility and
Are we good? Yeah.
It's the way that mobility and transportation goes. You have to mix, you have to connect those different ecosystems to be able to innovate in this ecosystem. Because it's not as usual as a usual startup. It's not a usual innovation for a corporate. You have to mix all those ecosystems to be able to scale them. So we do that every day, and it's the second reason why we are partners with this prize.
So if I understand it correctly, it's the interdisciplinarity of the sector that makes it more challenging, maybe also more interesting. Joël, the Boston Consulting Group, as well as VID, are going to, as part of the prize for the 4 winners tonight, give mentoring. So I'm not going to ask you how much this usually costs and how much it's worth, but I do want to ask you what's going to be your most valuable advice for the winners, and don't charge us for that.
So I will allow myself 2 advice.
Yes?
I think the first one that will be transversal to any winner we might have tonight will be to be customer obsessed and recognizing that customers are twofold in the mobility market. On one side, you have the consumers, and on the other side, you have the public authorities and especially the cities. On those 2 sides, mobility startups will have to solve for some of the most complex issues that the society is dealing with today. For the cities, congestion, offering access to mobility to different type of population, not creating or not exaggerating inequalities, and making sure we make the most of the public investment we do are the key ambition. And mobility startups need to help with that, because given the size of the problem we are trying to solve, increasing the quality of life and increasing the wealth of all the cities in the world, none of the players will be able to do it alone. And in those ecosystems, startups will need to contribute, even if they are not used, or even if it's not easy, to work in those very complex ecosystems, including public sectors. On the consumer side, I would say it's probably more traditional for the startups, but what we see a lot in the mobility field is that average value proposition fail, above average value proposition pick up very quickly. And so the difference between good and excellent is very critical. So that was for the first advice. The second advice, and I will draw on what Bertrand Piccard very rightly said, which is all technology exists. And I think this applies very well to the mobility industry. And the advice I would give to the startup is, let's not be focused on technology development. There's probably everything out there. Autonomous car exists, electrical car exists, or almost exist. What they need to focus on is bringing the right people at the table, building the right ecosystem, and creating the customer and the consumer value proposition that will make a difference.
Do you think there's any advice you're going to try to give them that they will resist, that will be more difficult for them to accept from you? From your
Probably,
experience, does it happen that you try to push a
there's-
client in a certain
there's
direction
one.
and it's not really what they are naturally, intuitively feeling like doing?
Yes. I think today, in this room, we have the chance of having great political leaders, Karima obviously, but not only, that are visionaire in the field and willing to help. That's the positive side of the coin. The other side of the coin that I think many of the startups are facing on a day-to-day basis is the difficulty of dealing with regulatory framework, complex and different legal environment from one city to the other and from one country to the other. And I think from the discussions I'm having with many of them, it's not a walk in the park. My advice would be patient. The great leaders we have here, and especially at European level, are doing their job every day to help. It's going to take time, but it's going to come.
And perhaps that's one of the reasons why it's so interesting to have both the European bubble and the tech bubble here under the same roof, so that these kind of conversations can take place.
And that's actually why we wanted to participate in this setup, because I think we have a unique conjunction of forces to make a difference that would not be possible otherwise.
Okay, Jean-François, can I ask you maybe about the criteria, how you put them together for choosing the winners? Because you've already done a lot of work. Tonight we have 10 plus 1. I'll explain what's the one later, but 10 out of almost 500, and I understand correctly. So how did you decide on these criteria?
So we asked the jury to evaluate the different startups on different criteria. The first one was, are they going to be game changer of mobility? Second one is that will they have a sustainable impact in terms of ecological impact? The third one, a social impact, a positive social impact. Do they already have some traction on new mobilities? And also, will they benefit from this price? Because we want to promote startups that really need to be scaled through Europe. So some of them have already passed this issue, and we will see some of them there. But we want to help really startups that need to be scaled through Europe. And the sixth one was a global feeling about the startups that the jury will finalize to evaluate tonight, because it's also important to have a global feeling.
Okay. I'd like to ask you, Karima, I've noticed that among our startupists, I think there's only one woman. But among the politicians here tonight, there's a very strong female presence. And for me, it goes a bit against the cliche, because we think about the EU as old men in dark suits, and we think about the tech world as being very innovative and progressive and inclusive. What's going on? Is this the time for women in Europe?
I start with a revolution. It's not only digital revolution, it's in the mental revolution. It's a time to change. I believe that we have a lot of women in the transport sector, really, because when you see Violeta, for example, we have a lot of ministers.
We're going to have another commissioner, Bienkowska, is also going to hear tonight.
I don't know where she...
Yeah, the ministers, because I went over the list of the judges.
We have a lot,
We have the minister, Bon, who was supposed to be here and had to cancel, and the Estonian minister, and the Finnish minister. So politics is a...
Yeah, of course, we have...
It's a feminine profession these days.
But I believe when you, in the mind, when you talk about transport, it's technical sectors, I believe. But now we have a technical woman can do this job. We are ready, but it's now.
Now is the time.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, maybe a more technical question for you. The competition was open for startups from any member state. Was there a part of Europe that was more represented, that sent more candidates? Did you feel like it was distributed evenly?
So we are proud because we have startups from each countries of Europe. And it was a big issue, a big goal for us to have a startup from all the different countries, because we want this prize to represent Europe. In fact, we have strong presence from France, from UK, from Spain, from Germany, so representing the startup ecosystem. But we have startups from everywhere. And on the 10 finalists, we have startups from different countries too.
Okay. I'm being told that there's a slight change in our program as some of our guests are being held back, although I see that they're opening. But meanwhile, as we are almost at the pitching part, let me say a few words about the app and the voting. So we have our professional jury, and it was decided this year that the professional jury did go over the files, the professional files and the confidential files of all the startups, and that's why the decision about the winners will be taken exclusively by the jury, based both on the pitches that they will see tonight and all the information they've collected. At the same time, we're going to use Slido in order to allow you to give the judges an impression of how you feel that they performed tonight. So there are a few ways in which you can do it. I see that there's already the test that we can do behind me, just to see that it works. In order to come into our Slido voting, there are two ways in which you can do it. One is through the app, as you can see here on my left. If you go to public input, you go directly into our Slido. If you don't have the app, you can go, as you see above, slido.com/EUSP. And let's test it quickly. So Greg, if you want to come back to the... Just to ask you, if somebody wants to vote for me, because I cannot, I came by bike on my Brompton, but tell us how you came here tonight, just to see that you're connected and it works. And we can see the results, maybe? Can you reveal the results? I see that we have 13. Oh, here we go. Okay, you're voting 15, 17. You are finding your ways to our Slido. Okay, quite a few walked. If you came from another country, it's okay to take the last part of your trip. You didn't walk all the way from Slovakia, I can imagine. So we'll exclude the plane, and then we'll see how you arrived on your last bit. Okay, I'm the only biker around. This is pretty shocking. Somebody does need to vote for me. Okay, lots of walkers. 38, 41. I'm waiting for the numbers to go up just to see that you are finding your ways, because this will become much more critical in a few moments when we start the pitching. 50 almost, good, 50 voters. Okay, I see 2 bikers, maybe one of them voted for me. Okay, so you're finding your way. This is important, either on the app or on the website. Good, I like the numbers going up. Now I'd like to ask you another question. On the 20th edition, because Karima told us that this is the first but not the last edition of this prize, in 20 years, how do you think you will come here? What is going to be the mode of transport that you will use to come to this award? Greg, if you want to play the open question. We have a technical glitch. Here we go. So now, it's up to you. No options. Type it in. Let's see if we get some interesting results. Be creative, huh? I mean, you can drone, you can come by, maybe Bertrand Picard, I know already what's going to be your vehicle. You're going to come by, for sure, with a 0 drop of oil vehicle. I don't know if it's going to be from above, from below, from crossing the planet. Okay, so Hyperloop is coming up. People are saying it's going to be green, multimodality. Yes, 32, 34, okay, you are more or less reactive. If you're watching us on Facebook, the live stream, obviously you can also vote. That's open for you as well. Okay, so now I'm comfortable that once the pitches start, you will find your way. You will be able to vote on a scale of 1 to 10 after each of the pitches. And now let me ask my colleagues in the back if we can proceed to the next speaker, or if we start the pitching. Talk to me. Okay, I'm being told that the next thing I'm going to do is present the members of the jury. I will go back to my notes because I admit I do not remember them by heart. So, the judges that are going to make the official vote rather than the recommendational vote are going to be the following. So Karima Delli is sitting right here. I will ask you to stand up if you're in the room. Gilles Babinet, hello. You're the digital champion of France to the European Commission. The Estonian Minister of Economic Affairs and Infrastructure unfortunately could not make it, Kadri Simpson. That's one of the female politicians that I mentioned earlier. But she did use her experts in her ministry to go over all the files, so she did transmit her opinion in advance. We have Edward Arkwright from Group ADP. Yann Marté from VIAD could not be here, and Jean-François Dino is replacing him. We have Tanya Kufner from Startup Bootcamp Smart Transportation and Energy. Welcome, ma'am. Joël Azin is here on stage. Catherine Leboul-Proust from GRDF. Ross Douglas from Autonomy, the Urban Mobility Summit. And Fabrizio Roggerio from Europcar Group. Ah, Bing. I actually do have a note about you. I'm going back to it. Yeah, we're connected. Sheila Strick. Excuse us. And after we know the judges and we know the rules, we do have a slight lateness. Are we going to continue? We have a slight lateness of a high-level politician who should be with us, but I think we are going to have to continue. Yes? We're going to have to continue? Okay. So I'd like to thank our three panelists. We will see if our next speaker is going to arrive. We will allow him to take the floor later on. So now the big moment. The big moment has arrived. Each of the startupists is going to have 3 minutes only to present. After those 3 minutes, you would be allowed to start recommending our judges what you thought. You will see the results that will be available. And during your vote, we will have one question or 1 minute to ask by the judges. So judges, please pay close attention. I will pass the microphone if one of you wants to ask a question after the short presentation. Do we have our first pitcher ready? I will assume yes. Mike Redford from AdSeat in Sweden. Please. Good luck.
Thank you. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mike Redford. I'm the chairman and head of strategy for Ad Movement. So, have we got a little thingy? Yes, we have. Basically, what we're going to look at is the target segments we've been looking at. We've, for some reason, why is that not automatic? There should have been a video that coming up on the auto starting. We have a little technical problem, ladies and gentlemen. Ah, there we go. Let's go back a slide.
Okay, I understand we have a technical problem with the video. We're going to have to do without, if I understand correctly.
Try again. Okay, we'll go for it. Our initial market is looking at disabled people, and without the video, it looks a bit empty. So we'll go to the next one, so hopefully the video starts on that one. We've got two target areas. One is the disabled, which is where the original design came from. So we were actually targeting people who had wheelchairs or walking frames. What we looked at was how could we actually create a seat that actually made it easy for handicapped people. Marit Sundin, who's the innovator of the product, is actually demonstrating it here. What we wanted to make sure was that it was able to go over sand. You could use it in cobblestones. You could go anywhere with it. It was easy to use. It was mobile. It was flexible. And the advantage of it is the size of its footprint as well. It's extremely small and flexible. Now, our revenue model is based on sales of ad seats, spare parts, and also financial services, including hire, leasing, and insurances. Spare parts, we've had the product since 2012, and we've actually seen our servicing agreements already starting to come through. Our advantage of ad seat is a reduced footprint. It's no larger than the wheelchair. It actually means there's less demand on the individual, and we're actually going to be doing some work with a professor from Stanford who will actually looking at some of the issues we've got as far as actually mobility and in the core. Of course, this product is a reduced carbon footprint. Our market is really over, I'm seeing the time here, but I think we've got a little bit more time. Our initial market is, we've been looking at Scandinavia to start with. We've actually sold our product in USA and Germany, and we've actually got some product out in some parts of Holland as well. Next place is China, UAE. One of our clients in the USA said he would thought it fantastic with the product. He could actually go to Central Park and go on grassland. He's never been into the Central Park. He's never been on the grass before. And that changed the whole of it. And our second market, of course, is the aging population. 20% of the population in Europe is already over the 65. That will go to 29% by 2050. The team is a matrix team. You talk about a split, male-female. Around 50% of our team are female. Half the team are engineers, half the team is sales, half the team is product development. We've got a mixture of ages, from 26-year-olds right through to me, the older one in the team. And what part of it is that we also want that flexibility and everybody looking in a different way. Well, another nice video if it had been working. Basically what we're looking for is we're looking for some more money. Money's always good. We've actually done this with 400,000 euros, and we've actually been selling across the globe, and the team are here. We plan to raise more funds, and it's very useful to find out a little bit about the idea of some more money coming available from the EU. We'd like that. But also we need contacts. We need help with contacts. It's really important for us. Vehicle regulators, banks and insurance companies, because we need to arrange first personal finance. Because a lot of people actually don't get any subsidy. They actually have to pay out their own pocket. The family pays for this, because it changes people's lives. And finally, I'm going to share a letter that we actually had from one of our clients. I would like to inform you that I sold my ad seat. It's the most precious belonging, my ad seat. I'm not able to use it anymore. This guy had MS for 4 years, and eventually he's had to sell it. But he actually thanked us. And that, to me, is what this is all about. And as I said in one of my presentations before, not this evening, is if you don't cry working for my company, don't come and work for my company, because this is an emotional product. This changes people's lives. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Please do stay here. Please do stay here, because maybe one of our judges would like to ask a question. Yes? Please, Sheila. Is it on? Can we please turn on the mic? Technicians, give us a second. Give us a second. No, it's the mic that was here. Please turn it on. Yeah, no, I think now we're good.
Number 3.
Ah,
yes,
you're
I'm
getting...
here. Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
Can you tell me a little bit about your IP position?
The intellectual property is basically we've got variable height on the seat, and we've actually the way we actually glide it. The engines itself, we use various gyros from different companies, so we can put our seat on different platforms. We took the view that there are gyro technologies out there that we can use. We don't need to develop those. What we need to do is make sure that the seat is actually correct and works properly, and that handicapped people and older people can use it with ease. So our IP sits much more in that space rather than the actual underlying gyros.
Okay, thank you very much. You can take your seat, and you can now vote. Can we have Slido, the question on the stage, on the screen, please? Okay, and that's your chance. I remind you that this is just a recommendation, but we will take note of all the notes, all the votes that you gave during the evening. We're going to let you vote for a few minutes, and here are the results. Okay, I would say it's pretty good for the first one, especially considering that we had a glitch with the video. Yeah, you're still voting. Try not to be influenced by what you see on stage. Yeah, okay. It's strangely the 9 is low between the 8 and the 10. All right, I think we have a pretty good idea of how you feel about the first one. We're between 7 and 8. It's not an average, it's the most common grade, obviously. All right. I think, are we ready in the back, the technician, for the next pitch? We are ready. I'd like to invite this time from the United Kingdom, Dan Hubert, founder and CEO. I have a little problem here. Of Appy Parking, please.
Hello.
Hello. Your time is running from here, right? 3 minutes right now.
Hello, my name's Dan Hubert, and I'm the CEO and founder of Appy Parking. And it's our mission to make parking a truly forgettable experience. Currently, it's not, though. It's a massive, massive problem, and drivers are lost. And it is costing us billions. Billions in overpayments, billions in parking fines, and 30% of all congestion on the roads are from people looking for that space. And this takes away from productivity and from the economy, and that causes billions of drains where it could be going into something else. So that's all the problem. It's the fragmented data, the fragmented solutions, and ultimately this is blocking intelligent mobility, which is required for mobility as a service. So this is a problem for us now. We all got parking tickets. We all hate going into town trying to find the space. So how about for connected cars? Connected cars are going to be the most sort of intelligent, brilliantly engineered things, but they're still going to be stupid if they're not talking to the actual infrastructure on the side of the street. So it's Appy Parking's mission to make parking truly forgettable, and we're doing this by providing curbside navigation and automated payments to connected vehicles. So you tell us who you are and what you're doing, and we can show you exactly where to go, down to the nearest meter. So Appy Parking is the UK's most awarded parking app, but we're way more than just an app. We're a curbside management platform for cities to manage a digital infrastructure layer over the road network. It bridges IoT from connected cars to real-time availability on the streets to traffic flow data, creating heat maps. It aggregates payments, giving people multiple choices about where to pay and how much. And then this platform is a software as a service for the local authorities, and the more they use it, the cheaper it gets. It engages them. And the data from this then goes out into intelligent mobility applications as an API, from high-definition mapping, which is the world's first standardized curbside restriction data set, to different tiers of availability, to pins and zones and all the requirements for people to make a choice about where to go. So the benefits are pretty obvious. For the consumer, they don't get parking fines, their productivity goes up, no more overpayments. And for the cities, they get increased revenues, they get reduced enforcement costs, and ultimately reduced congestion and pollution. Oh, and happy customers. So on the right here is an example of our HD curbside mapping, which Ford is licensing in London. This is a London-wide project, giving everyone complete understanding at curbside as you're driving along. So this is giving last meter navigation to last mile companies. Our pipeline is a £6 million pipeline this year. We've got 1.6 million of business already booked in, aiming for 3 million. And we're working with Renault Nissan in Paris for connected car technology solutions. We're also working with Visa to do a city demonstrator to do frictionless pay-as-you-go parking using the very latest sensors with Bluetooth. And we're also engaged with the public sector, which is very fundamental for smart cities.
I see the time running out.
Oh, okay. So ultimately, removing this virtual roadblock of dead-end data will open up a 265 billion opportunity. I have a fantastic team. I can tell you about those later. And I'm here today because we're raising a Series A, so if you're deep pockets, come and talk to me. If you manage cities, come and talk to me. If you own fleets, come and talk to me. And if you want to make parking forgettable, please vote for Appy Parking. Thank you very much.
Members of the jury, anything that you would like clarifications on, please. I suggest you stand up. The microphone is here. I hope it works now.
How do you make your money? From the cities, from the consumer, or from the OEMs?
All of them.
That's the split?
So we kind of do revenue share models as well. So again, this is we're doing a lot of proof of concepts at the moment. So we are making money from just selling this data to navigation, vehicle OEMs. Everyone wants this high definition mapping, but the cities also need, we can give this data back to the cities. So it becomes a sort of a circular economy, which is so much more important than sort of like a Google model, if you like.
Thank you. I suggest we open it for the vote now. Please take back your seat. I invite you. I see that we are doing well on screen. Technicalities are working for us. Vote is open. I suppose we don't see the results right away. We're keeping them discreet. I'm being told that we're going to give it 1 minute for each to make it even. And we see the results. Rather similar to before. Again, we're not seeing averages. We're seeing rather the percentage that gave each note. Okay, I think for the judges, it gives you an idea of what the audience here thinks. Yeah, it is Interesting that the number of voters is going up, so some might have been struggling, and now they found their way to Slido, so that's also good news. Yeah, can we make it 100 voters? Yeah, I think we're almost there. Okay. From Sweden, we went to the United Kingdom, and from the United Kingdom, we're crossing the Manche to France. Atsuke, it sounds Japanese, but it's actually French. I'd like to invite Damien Bousson. You're next. You have 3 minutes. I see you're accompanied. Your time will be, you will see your 3 minutes right here. You are 2. You can get a mic. And you can introduce yourself because I don't have your name.
I'm Thomas Briguet.
Welcome.
Okay. Okay, I'm Damien Bousson. I'm CEO and co-founder of Atsuke. Just a minute. That's better. I'm Thomas Briguet. I'm international project manager at Atsuke. So we are French, you can hear it. We are 40. We are based in Paris, Dijon, Lausanne, and Zurich. We are a tech company with a cloud ticketing platform and software as a service business model. And we create the best and the most simple mobile ticketing solution for public transportation. So let's start with a question. How many of you came with public transport today? That's quite many, but not as many as it should be, not as many as it will be in the future, because in the future, it will be so easy to get from one point to another without using your personal car. And you won't only use bus, train, or subway, but also car sharing, bike sharing, autonomous vehicle. Everything in a seamless way. And in that amazing revolution of smart mobility, at Atsuke, our mission is to make possible to anybody, anywhere, at any time, to get a ticket in less than a few seconds. Let's do a little demo for that. We have a service already live for millions of users, and it's a good proof of concept for us. Let's say I'm in Geneva. I can just send a text message to the 788. Everyone knows this number in Geneva, and get a transport ticket in a second on my phone. There you go. And we provide an application for the inspectors that can validate the ticket just by scanning it. In Atsuke, we are at work to make this sort of experience available on any channels, not only SMS, on any device, and with all forms of payment. For instance, in the future, a Chinese tourist will be able in Europe to buy a ticket on his favorite app, WeChat, pay it in its own currency and in its own language. And we will be able to control the ticket with our own application. Well, for several years, our technology has been used by many millions of people in Switzerland. 1 year ago, we launched our technology in France, already in the cities like Rouen, Normandy, in Reims, Champagne, Grenoble and mountains, Toulouse, and many others are coming now. But let's talk, the reason we are here today is because after Switzerland and France, we really want to be fully European, thanks to your vote.
You were exactly on time. Well done. Members of the jury, who will take the question? Any of you? Okay.
Maybe they need my mic.
They might need your mic, but first they need to tell me that you're interested, but please go ahead again. There's a question over there.
I just wanted to know if that works on WhatsApp, Facebook, whatever.
Yeah, we tested on it, but we don't have for the moment a way to pay it, to be paid, as it is easy with carrier billing, you know.
Okay.
So on WeChat, for example, we have Alipay and WeChat Pay, and everybody use WeChat to pay something with it. For the moment in France, on Messenger, for example, you don't have any way to pay it easily.
You need an API that's connected to WhatsApp so that it works.
Yeah.
Do you need to install the software in the phone?
No.
No, you don't need.
Oh, no,
okay.
we don't need. No, we don't
Thank
need.
you.
We try to be everywhere. It's very, very seamless, very easy.
Great. Thanks.
Okay. Audience, Please tell us what you think. I hear the vote is open, and here we go. And I invite you to take back your seats. Yes. Okay, let's give it a few more seconds. We said 1 minute for each to be fair. Okay. Would be interesting to discuss later who voted how and why. I'm being told now that we actually do see the average on top. Can you tell me again the notes, the score that we had previous? 5,9. 5.9. It starts to feel like a Eurovision here, no? I'm translating now from my headphone in French. 5,9 was for Atsuke, yes, 5.9. 6.7 for AdSeat. And 6.4 for Happy Parking. Correct? Okay. Okay, and we're going to close the voting now, and we're going from France to Germany. And in Germany, we have Rolf-Dieter Lafrenz, who is from Cargonex. When you're ready, you should see your 3 minutes. Can we have the 3 minutes starting? There we go.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, every day more than 2 million heavy trucks roll through Europe. And the number will grow another 40% the next 12 years. And this increasing number will not only lead to massive collapses on our infrastructure and highways, but it will also endanger our climate goals, and which we need so desperately to save our planet. And the worst thing about it is every third truck runs empty. Stunning, eh? The reason is processes in this industry are very old-fashioned. And we have a high level of intransparency and fragmentation. So what does Cargonex do to solve this problem? The first thing is we make trucking very, very easy. With Cargonex, to order a heavy truck, a 40-tonner, is almost as easy as ordering a taxi. The second point is, and this is the highlight of our company, we have created the first artificial intelligence in trucking. Our artificial neural networks are right now learning the whole experience of the entire industry. So we are able to send a truck in advance to the place where it's needed later. And this increases utilization. And it will lead to a win-win-win-win situation. The shipper pays less. The haulier drives less empty. We all have less trucks on the road, and Cargonex has a fantastic business model. Why is it fantastic? Because the market is huge. If we only get 1% market share, we will build one of the biggest digital companies in Europe. And it's important to be big. Why is that? Because Amazon and Uber are knocking at our doors. If we don't want to lose this digital market against the internet giants of the United States or even of China, because Alibaba is coming as well, we need to build a European champion who's big enough to face this challenge. And the best part of the story is, it works. Last year, we had our first operational year, and we've made more than 2 million turnovers. We had thousands of tours, and we already are having positive gross margins between buying and selling tours, because this is our business model. And we have more than 60,000 trucks registered already in our network, and there's almost 500 and between 500 and 1,000 coming every day, every week. So what is the miracle behind it? I'm very proud, and I believe this is the reason behind it. It's the team. We have with Tom, this is our CTO, he might be one of the best guys to digitize logistic processes because he was formerly head of logistics at Delivery Hero. We have Bert, who was head of sales in a multi-billion euro company. John is a fantastic organizer, and I was a management and strategic consultant. I had my own firm with more than 50 consultants. And what are our next steps? We are right now operating in Germany and its neighboring countries, and we are going now to all Europe. We want to cover with our service all the European Union, and this is what we need support for. And we need money. We have our Series A round by the mid of the year.
Sorry, we had a problem here, which is that it wasn't featuring, but I invite you to conclude.
Okay, sorry. Honestly speaking, probably you don't love trucks. But if you love clean air and empty roads, give us your vote. Thank you.
Please stay on stage. We're going to ask if any member of the jury would like to address a question. I see they're hesitating and pushing each other. The mic, do you have a mic?
It's a very capital-intensive business, and there's a lot of competitors that have raised 50 billion, 60, 70 billion. How are you going to compete with those as you plan your rollout structure?
We are completely asset-free. We create a virtual network of trucks which we steer with artificial intelligence. We don't own these trucks.
Okay, thank you very much. You can go back to your seat. We're going to open it again for 1 minute. And go ahead. We will show the score after a few seconds so that you don't influence each other too much. Let's give it another few seconds. I trust you guys in the back to show it when you're ready. Okay. 7.5, am I correct? It's the highest, so it's good. $7.2. Am I correct? It's the highest so far? Yeah, it's the highest so far. Okay, well done.
Thank you.
Well done.
Thank you.
Are we closing the vote? We're closing the vote. Okay, closing now. Yes, they deserve it.
Thank you.
From Germany, we're going back to France. So as opposed to the Eurovision, there's more than one per country sometimes when it's when they deserve it. I'm inviting Eliette Vincent, president co-founder of Cocoli. Cocoli. You'll tell us in a second. To avoid problems with the timing, that we've had some technical problems. 3 minutes, please have them start so Eliette can see it when it starts. Yeah, it's starting. Go ahead.
Okay, hello everyone. I'm very happy to be here, a bit impressed as well. So my name is Eliette Vincent and I'm the co-founder of Cocoli. As you may know, 65% of people use their car every day in Europe. And at the same time, shipping costs are too expensive for individuals, especially when it's heavy or bulky items, such as an armchair, a bike, a guitar. So Cocoli is a platform that connects people who need to ship something with people who have a travel planned and some space in their trunk. So it's working on the principle of carpooling. With Cocoli, the shipper saves money while shipping, up to 80%. The driver earns money while traveling. And usually our customers, if they hadn't used Cocoli, the person who shipped something, they would have gone to take their thing, so they would have done a round trip. So we save cars on the road, so it's ecological. It was very important for us to have a business model since the beginning, so we take a 17% commission on each transaction. First, we developed Cocoli in France because it's our native country, where the market is quite huge. It's 20 million parcels, which is nearly 1.6 billion euros. But we already have some customers who ship some things to Europe. So we plan to launch Cocoli in Europe in 2019. Cocoli is a very easy and user-friendly platform, as you can see on this nice animation that I did for you. So one person picks up the thing, he transports it, and then he delivers it to the recipient. One thing which is really important for us is our customer happiness, and people are really happy with the people that are meeting through Cocoli, and we have a 94% satisfaction rate, which is quite good. We have an experienced team. We are not many people, we are only 3. But we're really dedicated and experienced, and this permitted us to go from 0 to nearly 800,000 euros in business in the last year. We have 60,000 customers, and 94% of them are happy. Why should you vote for us? Because we are not as big as our competitors, but we know we have to launch in Europe, and we want to launch in Europe soon. And your vote can really make a difference, so please vote for us.
Exactly on time. It's not your fault. I'm getting shouts in my headphones, so if I don't stop you on time, my ear goes deaf. Members of the jury, would you like...
I have
Yes.
a very quick question for you. What about insurance or liability? That's one question.
This was a question from our first customers, and it was really important for us, so we launched a partnership with MEP. And all the goods that are transported through Cocoli are insured up to 2,000 euros if they are broken or stolen. But
You should show that in the pitch, yeah, because that's important.
But the rate is really low. We have less than 0.5% of persons who use their insurance. So.
Okay, question answered. I invite you to take back your seats. I invite you to start voting. $15 voters, 26. I'm being told that on average 100 people voted each time so far. So let's try to reach the average before we show you the results. It's a few more voters after each time, so that's a good sign. You're getting the hang of it, and we're seeing the results, which is quite impressive, I have to say. So far, our average is around 7. It's okay, we can see it on the screen. You don't have to tell me. 6.7. Let's give it a few more seconds, and we close it. And I owe you something from before. I told you that there was a high-ranking politician that we were waiting for. So, the French Secretary of State for Digital Affairs, Mounir Majoubi, was the one who led the digital campaign of President Macron and then followed and joined his government. We have good news for you. There will not be fake news. The only thing that we're going to have is maybe some screaming about respecting the time schedule for this very, very tight evening. Minister, I invite you to take the stage.
Bonsoir à tous. Hi, everybody. Well, I will speak in English, but as you've seen, it's not my favorite language. I might sit with you. It will put us in a more comfortable way to discuss. Who are the entrepreneurs in the room tonight? I am an entrepreneur as well. So, all the other who are from the public sector. That's great to have as much public sector agent and as much entrepreneurs. So tonight we're talking about mobility, and that's quite a very important subject to me and for our government, because if we say that Europe and the world is going through 2 major transformations, it's digitization and the transformation and the revolution of environment. And mobility is at the heart of 2 of them, at the heart of the 2. If we had to define mobility, we can say that mobility is the process of moving a person or a good from a point to another while using the least possible resources. Resources that could be money, that could be energy, that could be use of the public space. And if we look at all the projects that were presented today, we can see that you have tackled lot of these elements. Some of you are taking the large picture, some of you are taking one sector within this picture, and some of you play as an add-on, you play as a key player on a key specific place. Our role as government is to be sure that this innovation happen, and there are no way to plan them. It's the old way of seeing transportation. That's how we moved from transportation to mobility. when we were dealing with transportation, we were able to make plans on a 10-year basis, plans on a 20-year, 30-year, 50-year basis. But with mobility, we are open to innovation. We are open to see solutions that we, the government, we, the innovators, couldn't see right now. So what is our role and why was I here today in Brussels? I was here to prepare the field for you. I was here to do what government can do for entrepreneurs is to let them be entrepreneurs. So this morning, I was with Mr. Moedas, and we talked about how do we finance and how do we help innovators throughout Europe, and how do we, and that's a thesis that we have in France, a thesis that we share with Europe, how do we build at the regional level with a European impact? How do we mobilize local ecosystems with a European market? And thinking this way is the way, is a way that we had to build and to create these new champions. So how do we help grow this local ecosystem? And as soon as we develop this ecosystem of entrepreneurs, how do we help some of them, not all of them, how do we help the successful one to grow faster in Europe, to grow faster in the world? And that's the question of going from startups to scale-ups. And this question of scale-ups is very priority for the European Commission and for the French government, is how do we build champions that are ready to tackle world challenges. Tonight, today, and during this competition, and I want to thank the organizer and I want to thank you too for inviting me, you have solutions that could go on a very high level and that could reach the world. I wouldn't comment all of your projects, but on each of them, I could see a great scaled solution that could have a real impact. After seeing Mr. Modas, I had a meeting with Maria Gabriel. With Maria Gabriel, who is the Commissioner for Digital, we're talking about standards. And standards, they are really important for mobility, but they are also really important for everything we're doing with big data. They are really important with everything we're doing with artificial intelligence. How do we share information? How we share them in a protective way? And how that we're sure that in Europe we are staying competitive and we are creating a welcoming area for innovators like you to create data, to use data, and make it in a responsible way. The way we see all this transformation is between a balance between performance and humanity. Performance means that we will do our best to have the most performant and innovative startups and companies happening and working on the European territory. But at the same time, we will look at consequences and the impact of people. And mobility is quite great because with mobility, when it's performant, it has a high impact on environment and it has a high impact on the life of the citizens. So when we win on mobility, we win on every subject. When we win on mobility, we win on democracy, we win on health, we win on a lot of subjects. That's why tackling the transportation mobility area is a way to demonstrate the high impact of what digital can do in our lives. Just before coming, I was with Andrew Sansip, and with him, we had a long talk on how can we accelerate. And the question for us, and Mr. Commissioner, it's a question for you all the time, is how do we accelerate our companies and how do we accelerate the rhythm of the European rhythm to be sure that we will not be surpassed by other continents, and how we're sure that no startups could say in Europe, we were not able to make it in Europe because in Europe it was too difficult, so we had to leave. And we want, that's a new sound, we want to be sure. I took the first train this morning. I want to be sure every single entrepreneur here tonight is able to say that we did it because it was in Europe. We did it because we received the financing we needed from the private sector, from the public sector, and it was from Europe. We were able to create data, to use data, to value data, and we did it because we had a strong digital single market, a strong digital mobility market, and to me, I put mobility at the first place in the digital France strategy because if we win on mobility, we will win on other subjects. So you can count on our support. The Commission is here for that, but each government is here for that. I'm not supporting especially the 3 French who were pitching tonight, but you were great, and your government likes you. But the 2 others, you were great as well. I love all of you, but I'm not a commissioner, so I really prefer the 3 French. But still, my only job is to make Europe a perfect ground, a perfect field for you to demonstrate your talent. So thank you again, Karima. Thank you again for everyone. You are doing great things in a very beautiful place. Thank you.
Thank you very much, State Secretary Majoubi. We're going to continue this little break between the pitches. Not a real break, stay here, but a break in the sense that we're going to listen to 2 more speakers before we actually continue the pitching. The next speaker is going to be Elżbieta Bieńkowska, who used to be Polish Minister for Regional Development and Transport. She was also Deputy Prime Minister. She is currently European Commissioner for Internal Market, Industry, Entrepreneurship, and SMEs. Thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here. I didn't took the first train from Paris this morning, but I feel like this. So I made my speech shorter and shorter, but it was important for me to be here with you because the 2 subjects of today's event, so startups and mobility. Startups is almost fully mine responsibility, mobility partly because, as it was mentioned, we are working together with a group of commissioners, with Commissioner Bulc, who has just left, and of course the other commissioners. So let me just say a few words from my perspective, how important it is, and that's why how thankful I am for organizers for European Parliament, Karima Delli, who will be, I think, soon back. And for you, all of you that you are here with us, let me say just few remarks on the opportunity which gives us a low emission mobility, because there are huge opportunities offers for Europe also. As probably you know, the latest data shows that in 2017, purely electric cars accounted for less than 0.5% in Europe, so the new legislation in Europe, while all electrified cars accounted for less than 1.5%. So this is clearly not enough. We are doing what we can. I've heard this today at our industry days, that public authorities should act as a moderator, and we are trying to do just this in the European Commission. So we, as you probably also know, we proposed ambitious and realistic CO2 targets and zero emission car benchmark. We revised the Clean Vehicle Directive, very important because we are also working for public procurement package which promotes clean mobility solutions in public procurement tenders. This is extremely important in Europe, also to use this incentive. Another important issue is, of course, batteries production. Probably you heard it before this morning, but it will be essential to support and to maintain research and production of batteries in Europe. But let me turn your attention for a few instruments that we are working on, very importantly focused and concentrated on startups. Because, of course, the European champions in mobility of today, so the car manufacturers, they will never sell me another German car probably next years. They are not necessarily, of course, the champions of tomorrow. There is a lot of possibilities for newcomers in the market, in this new mobility market, because digitalization gives also a lot of opportunities for our startups. A key factors, and it was said by Secretary of State, for success of startups is the private venture capital, not only to start the business, because this is not a problem in Europe. The problem in Europe is really the moment when companies want to grow. We do not have a problem of startups. We have a problem of scale-ups. So we have a large base of creative people ready to take risks to start the companies, and this is you today with us. Our issue is to startups are not staying in Europe. Probably you heard also this during the day. We are losing really our potential unicorns. So the main reason is that financing needed for these companies to grow is not easily available in Europe. So we are working, and with Commissioner Medas and only my services, we are working on two very specific initiatives to fix this issue. Very, I think, interesting one, and they will be soon ready. So I think it will be interesting for you also to hear this. First, we are about to launch a 2 billion pan-European venture capital fund of funds to support scale-ups in Europe. The objective, of course, is to increase the size of the venture capital funds in the European Union and to have it ready for financing the scale-ups. And second, very interesting initiative that is called Escalar to attract the more risk-adverse but large investors in Europe, so pensions funds and insurers. We will provide a certain public guarantee to these investors. We want push them to take more risk and to invest in the European innovative scale-ups. So these are the two instruments for European companies that want to grow, that are established because we have a lot of smart, intelligent, innovative people in Europe. But the problem is the moment when they are starting to grow from 5 to 15 people or 15 employees, and this is a problem that we are trying to dedicate some money also from the European public money. So Europe is at work to become really an attractive place to start a company, and it is, I think. But more importantly, to scale up. And this was also what State Secretary was saying. This is exactly the same. We have much too less venture capitalists, and they are much too conscious. They don't want to take a risk, and they are much more impatient. They want to have their money back very, very fast, very quickly, after the one round of the financing. So I would like to conclude this, but because I wanted to turn your attention to these two instruments, who will be soon in place. I want to congratulate all of the participants for your really extraordinary courage, ideas, innovation, energy, and because really Europe needs you. Europe needs such companies as those who are taking part in this competition. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Commissioner. We have one last speaker before we go back to the next round of pitches. I'd like to start with a little personal confession. When I grew up, I used to like hitchhiking, and my parents hated it, and my dad is actually in the audience, so he can testify that they hated it. But now things are changing. Now, parents are sometimes encouraging their kids to hitchhike, because BlaBlaCar was founded in 2004 and completely changed the whole idea of hitchhiking. It became the largest long-distance carpooling community in the world. We're lucky to have Frédéric Mazzella, who founded BlaBlaCar in 2004. He also worked for NASA in the United States, for NTT in Japan, and as both the Commissioner and the State Secretary spoke a lot about scale-ups, he's here to tell us about how they made it and succeeded to scale up to that level. I invite you to take the floor, please.
Thank you very much. So yeah, we've been talking about scale-ups a lot, and I thought it would be a good occasion for us to actually go through the story and how we've scaled up in Europe and a bit beyond, about the story over the past years and how to do, because what we need is, of course, more scale-ups, and I hope we will have dozens and dozens of them, maybe even in this room, thanks to the Startup Prize. So a few numbers to be very quick. Today, BlaBlaCar is a community of 60 million members. We are in 22 countries, and it's 18 million travelers per quarter. That was the last statistics from the last quarter last year. And so to give you a sense of scale, if we compare in the transportation as a whole, you know that the Eurostar network as a whole is 2.5 million travelers per quarter. We do 18 million, and a company like British Airways is doing 10 million travelers per quarter, so, and we're doing 18. So we also, of course, because we pull people in the cars, so we do long distance carpooling, so we help drivers with empty seats to find passengers going the same way. We have a very good solution for saving the environment as well, because it's very easy to imagine that it's better to have 2 people per car than to have 2 cars per people. And so that's simply what we do thanks to the digital wonders. So how did we do? It's one example, but since it's worked not that bad, so I would share it. What we've done is, first, we've proven our business model in France, in one country, and then we really thought about being global, and we were very ambitious about expanding internationally, but in a unified way, unified and lean. And then we deployed a structure which we call global, meaning that it's both global and local, and it really helps when you have actually to scale your product internationally to have both those approaches. So think unified is like think of a brand that is that will scale itself. It can scale everywhere. At the very beginning, we were called covoiturage. So covoiturage in France is carpooling. The thing is, when we, of course, discussed with people from the UK or people from Spain, it didn't work because covoiturage or covoiturage didn't really work. So we had to find a new brand, and so it took a long time, but then the brand BlaBlaCar seemed to work just about everywhere. It was easy to pronounce, it was easy to remember, and it also had this special feature about what we do, which is, since we match people together, they tend to discuss, and so the reason why we're called BlaBlaCar is because when you register in the service, you choose how much you talk in the car, so you actually choose if you are blah, 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 or blah, 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 and this says how much you'll be talking during the ride. So that's the reason why we're called this way. And then thinking lean and going far, to go far is really important, and you have to make sure your model will allow you to expand, because having like 10,000 or 100,000 members is really not the same story as having 1 million, 10 million, and 60 million. So if your processes and if everything you've done is not scaling, then you will just not be able to fund the growth. So you really have to think about being lean in everything you do. Also, fundraising is really not an end. It's not even a beginning. It's just very regular in the life of a company like ours. We've fundraised very regularly for years. Which means that each step you have to have a different goal. It helps because the investors want to know what is the next step and why they are paying for, so what they are buying. So for us, the first round with some of my friends and business angels was 600K. It was just to exist, basically, and create the product, and also become the leader in France, which we were able to achieve. Then a second round in 2010, for 1.2 million, was to prove a business model that would allow us to scale. We've tried 6 business models in total, and the business model that we are on today is transactional, and it's really helped us scale. And then we did some runs of expansion, international expansion, for like 10 million, then 100 million, and then 200 million. But we had proven that the system was working. So it's really a continuous effort to raise funds. And it's good to be in that mindset, because fundraising once is good, but then you have to think about how you will fundraise for the next rounds. That's an image of our international expansion. So we're now in 22 countries. We started to expand first in Spain in 2009, just to try, because it's also good to have at least 2 countries and not just one, because it prepares all your team to not think about just one country. And then when you have to expand, because if your company is totally French, and then you want to expand when your team is already 30 or 50 people, it's really, really tough to have everybody switch the culture and switch the tool. But it's better if you have another country as a test, at least, so that everybody knows that there's not only one country on Earth. And then it helps also with the structure I will be talking about, that you can raise further. So the structure, the global structure that we have put in place, is that we have an HQ, so it's in Paris, where most of the people are. We have like about 250 people in Paris, and then we have 10 other offices in other countries, and some of the jobs and those competencies are in Paris, and some other competencies and skills are on the field. So for us, a digital company like ours in Paris, we have tech, data, legal, people meaning like all the HR functions, product, finance facilities, of course, and member relations. What we call member relations is actually customer support for most of the companies, but since we have a community of members, we say members. And then when you scale in new countries, you have to have people who will make local partnerships. They will do some business development, local communication and marketing. So you have this, a team of, for us, it's about 5 to 10 people, depending on the countries. And then they communicate with the HQ and with some people who are in charge of communicating with them, which is a function of global growth. So they will be communicating on a daily basis to help local countries really scale to the maximum. And so once you have this model in place, you are able to replicate and have several countries. You enter in a phase of international expansion, which works. But if you don't staff correctly, and if you don't have a clear vision of how to organize the structure, then you will not scale properly. So the way to expand in countries as well, we found out there are 3 options, and 3 of them, all of them should be considered because they are very useful. So the first one, which we've used 7 or 8 times, is what we call acqui-hire. It's like you find a good local team which does the same job as you. So like you'll find a company which has the same activity as you, a small team of startuppers who are fighting with life, just like you were earlier on, meaning like they eat pastas and they don't spend much money and they code day and night and they answer to their first clients day and night as well. So you go and see them and you're like, okay, we have the mothership in Paris where lots of people like you think like you, and for us it was when we were to see the entrepreneurs in countries, we would tell them, you love carpooling, we do too, and we know that you're a bit alone in your country, so we will help you as well to scale carpooling in your country. And so we were bringing like the product itself as well, the member relations, meaning that they don't need to answer to their own customers. We can pool that in Paris with people who speak all the languages. We'll also provide you with a brand and with a playbook to scale faster. And so you will have to deal with local partnerships and business development, but we'll take care of a lot of things for you. So tech, product, the playbook as well to expand faster on your acquisition marketing. So this has proven to be a very good solution. You have to align people, so make sure that when you actually do the M&A, you incentivize the local entrepreneurs to the main structure. So like the local entrepreneurs would trade their shares of their company for shares in BlaBlaCar. So like we're all in the same boat and everybody's motivated to make the company grow internationally as fast as we can. The other solution is a spin-off. So like if you have a team of of people in your team who want to go expand in a country, so that happened for us, for example, in Germany, we had 5 people from Germany in our teams in Paris. And so they went to Hamburg to launch the German company. And so in this way, you can do it because you have people who know the culture locally and also know the company, and so they are able to actually launch the activity in their own country. The other way, of course, is the hardest, is hire locally. For us, we did that in some countries when we couldn't find a local company with whom we could partner, or when we weren't able to do a spin-off. It's a lot harder. Like I remember, for example, for some countries, we had more than 800 candidates to filter out to find the right person who would drive the team locally. But you can also consider that option. So a few words to finish on what's next for Europe. And anticipate that everybody would be so focused as well on scale-ups. So I'm really happy because my conclusion just goes in the same sense as everything that has been said. So we need more scale-ups in Europe. Scale-ups are getting some fundings, and so we see that the fundings and the VC scene is really good right now, and we see lots of companies being funded, so that's okay. It's going in the right direction. We need our teams to think international, and so to go international with some methods. They could use ours. And we also need some talent, which means we need to be attractive. We need to think of Europe as a European tech scene that is attractive for all the tech talent owners, actually. So this is a common effort that we have to do to make sure that we attract people who know how to build those companies. Because if you look at the markets and if you look at how they are, they produce or not what we call now the unicorns, you see the US has a market of about 300 million people, and they've produced 120 unicorns. Europe has 500 million people. We've produced 57 unicorns. China has 1.3 billion people. They've produced 66 unicorns. And you can look at some metrics. They are a bit similar. But the reality is that we don't do the same race. Actually, if you compare scaling in the US or in China versus scaling in Europe, it is not the same, because when you scale in the US or China, you actually have a single unified market. So it's a big playground, and it's wonderful. They have a single culture, and they have a single currency, a single labor laws, and single taxes. When you scale in Europe, you have to adapt to dozens of countries with different labor laws, different taxes, different ways of seeing how to handle data, different ways of different currencies as well. So you have to be prepared that it's a bit more tough to scale in Europe than it is in other markets. But it can work if you are prepared mentally and if you put a lot of effort in it and make sure that you adapt your product to each of the new countries. So to conclude, I would say, of course, that Europe is a wonderful playground for mobility solutions. Some statistics as well. You may know that 1% of the total GDP per capita in EU is spent on average in traffic jams. So it's like 275 euros per citizen per year. And we spend 2 hours per day in average in transit. So there is a lot of potential for improving all this. It's not very efficient enough today. And so that's what we're doing. So I would just say to all the startups who've competed for the prize today, please think big. Thank you.
Right here. Right here. Do I have a mic, Frederic? I just wanted to ask you before you go back, when you go on long distance trips, do you still take people from your app? Do you give them rides? You do? Did you drive now from Paris to Brussels?
No, today I did not, but I do actually. I do some rides. It's funny. I try to not say who I am, but sometimes it doesn't work. Last time it was a journalist, and then it was
of transportation.
No, not of transportation. But then I was driving, and he was my passenger, and then he began, and so we began to discuss. And then at some point, I was stuck because he was asking me what I was doing and everything. So he said, well, I know, actually, I know. So
did he give you a rank at the end of the ride? Were you a good driver?
Yes. Okay. I have only 5-star ratings.
Okay, I hope you gave him also a good rank, because otherwise he might write an article about your platform.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. You're the scale-up that inspires these startups, and that's, I think, their dream of what they would like to become. And on that note, thank you very much. We're going to go back to the pitching exercise.
Thank you.
You can leave the microphone with me. Thank you. So we still have another 5 contestants to go. And if the next one is ready, I'm going to remind you the rules, 3 minutes each, a short question, then you vote, and in the end, the judges are going to tell us what they think. The next one is also from France. I'd like to invite Klaxit. I apologize, I have a little Klexit. I apologize for that. 3 minutes should start. Don't start before it shows, and it goes.
Please. Good evening. Imagine a world where commute would be seamless, would be enjoyable, where you could breathe clean air, where you would even talk to the people next to you. It's hard to imagine, isn't it? That's because commute is stressful, is a painful experience. You are stuck in the traffic, you are alone in your car. It's an economic and an ecological nonsense. So our mission is to provide a new way of mobility to people commuting, for them to have a good way to go to work, which would be suitable for the smart city. So Klexit is a carpooling application which brings together drivers and passengers to go to work. Today, as you can see, we are the biggest short-distance commuting carpooling network in France, with over 100,000 trips proposed on the platform every day. But we don't want to stop to our local market. We want to go all over Europe and to create a European champion. And for that, we have gathered several strategic investors who have invested 4 million euros since the beginning of the adventure. And we also rely on the partners of the prize to give us a little push to reach our objectives. Because carpooling and commuting market is very hard. So as it's hard, we work for 5 years in order to find the right solution, what we call our secret sauce. And today, I'm going to reveal to you the recipe. So the first ingredient is an open mobile app, which is based on an intelligent software, an intelligent door-to-door algorithm, which can match you and rematch you even if your schedule changed with other people. The second ingredient is our companies. The companies we work with allow us to create a dense network and to also create trust between carpoolers. And the third one, and as Mr. Azan said, you cannot deal with mobility without dealing with public authorities. So we closely work with public authorities to have sponsoring for our trips, which allowed us to bring the number of carpoolers on our app. We have 4 times as much carpoolers. 80% today of our commuters find a convenient and a relevant trip on the app. So I will just go a little bit further on in what we do. I'll be quick. So our mobile app is updated every month with new features. We went from 30 to over 100 corporate clients. And since we began to co-fund the trips on our platform, the number of trips is skyrocketing. So we have a very, very highly motivated team of 20 people.
I will have to invite you to conclude, for the sake of fairness.
So, and we will, with this team, we will go to reach our objectives and to go to Europe. So, in France, our president has a very ambitious goal, which is to make our planet great again. We totally agree with this, and we want to be part of it, and eventually to make our commute great again. So let's Klexit. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don't go anywhere. Now it's time for our judges to ask you the questions that maybe you were not waiting for. And I see that we have one. Yes, I'll give you back your mic. You can stand up if you wish.
Hi, nice to see you again. Can you talk a little bit about the role of predictive analytics in your...
For the moment, it's not something that we are doing.
She was asking about predictive analytics just for the sake of everyone and deep data. I think the mic wasn't working.
That's not something that we are working on for the moment because it's quite hard because you have to track people to know where they are going, etc. And it's not very compliant with privacy, basically. That's our opinion for now. But that's something that we are looking into, and according to how we can do deep analytics without being like to enter people's privacy, we'll definitely do it because it's something that's interesting.
Okay, we're going to go back to voting. You can go down. Don't vote on his fashion because I would give him 10. We're voting on the presentation. And let's see if we can make it to 100 voters as we had before. The votes are open. We don't see them yet, but you see the numbers of the people voting. We see the number of voters on the screen. Thank you for keeping me informed. 69, 74, and maybe we can open the results. Oh, wow. Okay, I see a big distribution here because we have lots of 10s and lots of lows, and on average we have a 6, which is pretty good, I think, for us for tonight. So let's give him another round of applause. Yes, applause. And from France, we're going to, we stopped the voting. From France, we're going to to Finland. And we're going to have, I know, it's a big difference, it's not the same. We're all in Europe. You're going to have to help me with the pronunciation, though. Sampo Hitanen. That was close enough? From us Global.
Yes.
Wait for your 3 minutes to start. I will be a bit more aggressive when it gets to 0. Can we get to 3 minutes? There you go.
Great to be here. Now, with all of this innovation that I actually have to love all of these, wouldn't it be about time that we now ask the big question? And the big question in mobility is, would there be something that would be as big as car ownership? And I think with all of these innovations we can. Now, what if I were able to put not just public transport, but all the taxis, all the cars, all the car shares, all the ride shares, even home deliveries into one app and sell it to you just like you buy your mobile subscription? This is where we succeeded actually in Europe in creating an environment where this was possible. Now, would that be bigger than owning your car? And even more so, this issue will not be solved in a system, not on a map, not like that. It will be solved right here. We have to deliver something that is bigger of a dream than actually owning a car. We can actually do that. The car has a span about 4 hours, 5 hours, depending on, with blah, blah, you might want to do a bit more. But what if we were able to give you an open world, open Europe, where everything, you can hop on easily to any bus, any train, any taxi, any bike, and so on and so on. And actually we can. We can do that by 2020. It is quite doable for the whole global offering for just one subscription. So why is this important? Because in any digital revolution, you should have a look at the big numbers. You should look at where the money is. What we should have over there is numbers. But luckily, I seem to remember them by heart. We spend about 500 euros every month for our car ownership. 85% of this, roughly about 10 trillion market, is spent on a car that is used about 4% of the time. Now, this mobility as a service, where we come from, the world's first mobility as a service operator, is said to be worth 1 trillion itself by 2030. Now, how do we do that? The first dream, or the first magic we do, is give you a pay-as-you-go. Every app that you ever dreamed of, every mode in one app, and you're not paying extra. How do we make money is to make it like Netflix, make it like this subscription. All-you-can-eat buffet, and if we put you walking, biking, or using public transport, we're making money because those are cheap kilometers. And we've done this, actually. And the numbers are actually quite impressive. In Helsinki, within 2 months of sales, we've been able to gather 30,000 out of 500,000 people, which is quite good. I believe that Europe can lead the way. This digital revolution we can actually make because we have the best systems. We're good at this global roaming. We're good at having those things that none of the others have. But what I'm asking from you here is we need partnering. We cannot do this alone. We cannot go to Paris without RATP. I cannot go and just say, okay, I'll do something else. Thank you.
Sorry, they're shouting in my ear when it goes to 3 minutes. Members of the jury, anyone wants to jump in? How much money did you raise so far? Was the question?
That we've had from our partners here is 15 million, because this is, look, it's 10 times as big as telecom, so you can imagine the investments are big. We're going to be bigger than any one of these by 5 to 10 years. It's doable. It is. You can't claim that it wouldn't be. So we're going to be needing quite a lot, but we're good on that. Now what we need to do is buy. We want to buy all the trains and buses and all the taxis and all of those in Europe to really show that this can work. Airplanes, that's a good question. Many people want that for the open world. It'll come.
Spontaneous question.
Tickets for our clients. We need to buy them in order to make a subscription that we can buy as a monthly fee.
Okay, I see the audience is curious after all to know more. And by the way, you're also tweeting a lot. I hear that our hashtag is trending already, so I cannot see the Twitter wall that you do, but apparently you're making lots of noise. And on that note, should we go to voting? What did you think? You can go take back your seat. Thank you very much. Let's give it another few seconds before you reveal. Oh, wow. That is impressive. I think, is it our record for tonight? I think it might be a record for tonight with an average of about 8. Going a bit lower. Are we closing the vote? We're closing the vote. We're closing the vote, so now you have hard competition. We're going from Finland to Austria, and I'm inviting Dietmar Niedelt, founder and CEO of Dinitech. Don't start. Don't start, because I'll come chasing after you for 3 minutes, or at least I'll try. Can we get the timing to start? And you can go.
Yeah, thank you so far. My name, as you heard, is Dietmar Niedelt. I founded the company Dinitech, and we developed and produced the product Energy Kick. What is Energy Kick? Energy Kick is a mobile charging unit with a charging capability up to 22 kilowatt. With its adapters, you are able to charge on any standard electricity socket. And this is one of the main keys. You are not rely on the charging station on the street or somewhere else or at home only in the garage. You can charge your car with Energy Kick anywhere. You can take it with you like a mobile phone, and you are independent. There are a lot of additional features integrated, maybe, for example, some safety measures, as well as a Bluetooth interconnection and smartphone app, and all these additional functions make this device really, really smart. So what have you done during the last 2.5 years? We sold this unit several thousand times over Europe. And based on that, what will come to us in the future, I mean, the e-mobility, this will grow. It's really at the beginning. We will really grow with this market and expand not only in Europe, all over the world. Here you can see our team. By the way, I'd love to work with them. And on the upper side on the screen, you see the skills which we are building up or which we have in our team. So it means we need to develop such innovative products, software development, hardware development, 3D design on construction of components. And what we are also doing is we are manufacturing these parts. And this makes us to be able to keep the quality level very high. The roadmap, on the lower side, you can see we have a lot of ideas in developing products to produce this also at our facility. And yeah, we have a lot of ideas what we want to realize. But at the moment for us, it is very important that we get partnerships all over Europe in each country, that we will be one of the strongest partners for products in the field of charging technology, charging products for the customers. And parallel to that, we also want to go to the international market. Yeah, charge fast anywhere. This is our slogan. With Energy Kick, Energy Kick enables e-mobility because you are independent for charging and you need to charge your car, then you can drive an electric vehicle. Also green energy. Yeah, this is based on its topic itself. And on the last sentence, help us to overcome the problems in this field, that we can develop and produce
new innovative products for the customer, for our pretty world.
Thank you very much. Let's give him a round of applause. Members of the jury, any word, comment, or question from your side? Usually on this side, there's something that comes up. No? Not this time? Okay, anybody behind wants to ask a question? Okay. Yes, wait, I'll give you, apparently one works and one doesn't. So now we're going to test it on you. You give me back the one that doesn't, and we'll get rid of it once and for all.
This one is working, I think. Thank you. How will you change, how will your solution change behavior? Because the people you sell to already own an electric vehicle?
How will yeah, but
the question was, how will you change
no.
consumer behavior? I'm just for the sake of those who couldn't hear.
Yeah,
it's the echo one, so we'll try the other one then.
So if you drive an electric vehicle, you have to rely either to the public charging opportunities or that thing what you have at home. And we have a product which you can use at home, but you can also take it with you to charge your electric vehicle also at your parents or somewhere else. And this is a very important point, or if you drive to the holidays, a very important point. If you drive a longer distance where you do not know, is there a charging station or not, you have energy with you, you can stop by somewhere. Electricity is everywhere. This is the best net in the world. And you can plug in and charge on any standard electricity socket.
Okay, satisfied with the answer? Okay, let's give it for Dietmar. A round of applause. That's giving it to Dietmar. Thank you very much. And we're going to voting. Maybe we can have music while we're voting? No, that doesn't work? Otherwise, okay, no music, but you can still vote. We'll give it a few more seconds until we reveal the results. Ah, there we go. They're improvising in the back. Thanks for that. 64. Okay, again, we have a very wide distribution between the lows and the highs. Number of votes is almost as high as it was before. We're reaching 90. Yeah, very wide distribution. Okay, it gives us a sense of an idea. It's the average is somewhere in between, but like I said, it's very widely distributed. All right. The next one, we're going now from Austria to our neighbors from the north to the Netherlands. No, unless there's a change of order. No, we are going to the Netherlands to Jeroen van Kester of Tracefy or Tracefy?
Tracefy.
Tracefy.
Yeah.
And your colleague, you can...
My partner Niels.
Okay, well done. Don't start. Don't start. We want the 3 minutes, and you can start.
My name is Jeroen. This is my partner Niels, and together we are Tracefy. We connect bicycles to the internet, and this is how that looks like.
Eric needs to be in the city today. At the train station, he leaves his bike at the bike storage. He locks it and activates geofence with an app. In the train, he uses another app to rent a public bike. He checks availability and makes a reservation immediately. In the city, a green wave for bikers makes his journey quick and effortless. Real smart mobility. Anna is an employee at the public bike rental. Her attention is drawn by messages on her dashboard. On some locations, all bikes are rented. Some bikes need maintenance, and some are stalled on an odd location. She plans maintenance and sends out a service truck to collect those misplaced bikes. Eric has returned his rental bike. In the train back home, he sees that his own bike is moving. Luckily, just a few yards, within the bike storage. He orders a pizza. On his app, he sees when his pizza will be delivered. Roughly around the same time he will be home. The pizza delivery service receives a message that the pizza is delivered on time. And that means a bonus for Harry.
We focus on two main target segments. First are fleet owners and bicycle builders. With our built-in GPS module and online dashboard, operators and manufacturers have access to all usage data. Second are bicycle owners. Our GPS module and application provides theft protection. If a bicycle gets stolen, it can easily be traced and recovered. It's our vision to keep cities livable and accessible by stimulating the use of bicycles. When you connect them to the internet, you offer cyclists, operators, and city planners great new possibilities for smart mobility. Our product is new on the market, and it consists of a combination of hardware, software, and connectivity services, generating up to 4 means of turnover. The European market for e-bikes is growing rapidly. Parties that use bicycles for their operations are searching for ways to optimize their services. Now, with Tracify, they can. Tracify is an IoT startup of 2 bicycle specialists and a great team of developers and technical engineers. Together, we have all skills to be fully self-sufficient. We launched in the Netherlands, and we recently launched in the Netherlands, and we are now ready to enter Europe as a beautiful next chapter of our Dutch cycling heritage. To scale up internationally and to develop a similar solution for human-powered bicycles, we are raising funds. So, if you're interested, we would love to get in touch. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Don't go away yet. Let's see if we have a question coming in from the front rows. Usually, come on. Ladies. No, come on. Okay, gentlemen. I'm being told that the problem is not the mic, but you just need to keep it very close to your mouth. So let's try.
2 quick questions. One,
there we go.
does your application work with free-floating bike share schemes like OFO and Mobike? And the second question is, have you made any sales to existing bike brands like Trek or one of the big brands?
Yeah, to start with the first question. In the Netherlands, you have a bike-sharing company which is already using our system. We can provide hardware and software. So in some cases, they already have their own hardware. And that way, they're able to use our API. So we can gather the data and do the analysis. And in other ways, we also provide the hardware. So that was how we use bike-sharing operators. Your other question?
Have you made a big sale to the bike manufacturers?
Yeah, we are actually in touch with almost every Dutch brand. We are doing pilots. We went live in 2016, and we will roll out next year with a lot of commercial series for larger companies. One of our clients is Cortina, which is the biggest bicycle brand in the Netherlands.
Okay, gentlemen, thank you very much.
Thank you.
You leave the microphone with me, you take back your seats, we will have some music, we will turn back to the voting. And let's see what we have. I see you're holding your phones, 27 have voted already. There we go, okay. See, the average score is around 5. But not so many have voted so far. We're around 60, so let's give it a few more seconds. Now we're at around 70. It's still around 5. Oops. 80, we're still around 5. Okay, so I think it's quite stable. Okay, I'm reminding you that the votes are not binding. It is going to be the judges who are going to make the final vote based on all the information that they have so far. I can tell you, however, that based on your vote so far, the 3 top votes are AdSeat with 6.7. Let's give them a round of applause. Cargo Next with 7.3. And our top performer so far is Waymap by Mass Global with 7.8. But we will see if our judges agree and feel the same way as you do. Our next pitcher is going to be Juraj Ulela from Slovakia, who's going to tell us about Voltia. Don't start, Juraj. I kicked it, but I wanted you to see it. I hope it still works. Can we get the 3 minutes to start? And it started. There you go.
Okay. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Juraj, and I'm the founder and managing partner of the company named Voltia. We've been busy with e-mobility back to 2011, and believe me, there were not too many companies who were betting on e-mobility that time. Today, I will start with the framing of the problem. The main problem is the air pollution. Air pollution is getting worse and worse, not only in the big cities like Paris, London, and so on, but it's also getting worse in much smaller cities, and this is not only the EU case, it's global. The solution could be, let's use the electric vehicles. But the people just don't know. There is not only lack of knowledge of electric vehicles and experience and so on, but there is, on the other side, there is a lot of myths around it. So, since the beginning, the strategy of Voltia was, let's switch those myths and fears into the facts, assurance, and solution. Our experience in switching the global fleets and understanding of the customers shown us that we are able to switch not only these big fleets, but we are able to switch to electric every one and every driver in Europe. What is the market opportunity? What if we can offer a customer a solution in the value of thousands of euros in 3 minutes and for free? What is our USP alchemy? We know that the banks are able to serve hundreds of thousands customers a day each, based on the advanced credit scoring methods. What if we just bring similar methods out of the banking industry and we apply these methods into the EV industry? That would matter. That will bring the scalability. Okay, what is our solution? Let's make everybody to become an EV expert by simple usage of evexpert.eu. It's just simple website where we matches customers' behavior and expectations with parametrically described electric vehicles. And no matter what, if we are talking about big fleets or we are talking about retail or personal customers. What about our team knowledge? We have more than 30 people within our team. We have, okay? We have comprehensive know-how and experience with a lot of things. But what makes sense here, our customers, based on us, based on our knowledge, were able to make more than 20 million of electric kilometers. We are seeking for a, last sentence, we are seeking for a strategic partner with whom we want to leverage that accumulated know-how around e-mobility. And let's make everybody to become an EV expert. Let's use electric vehicles. The technology is here. We just need to use it. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm the bad guy here, sorry.
Sorry.
I'm just following orders. Okay, judges, please see that it works. Yeah?
I can out myself as an idiot because I didn't understand exactly what you're doing. Can you articulate your value proposition? Are you a marketplace connecting, or do you make vans? I'm not getting it.
What is the EV expert? What does the EV expert do? It's just putting together two things. One is we know what the customer's needs. We know what is the behavior of the customer on one hand. On the other hand, we know how to parametrically describe the cars. If you're talking, for example, LCVs, you need cargo space, you need cubic meters and these things. We just put those together so that it's matching. That's the main reason we putting these things together, and then everybody can find his, instead of, we can break the myths, put it on the facts, and everybody can find what is actually missing for his business or personal purpose.
Okay. Are you happy? Our judges never
better.
promised to give an easy time to the startups, huh?
And then how do you monetize that? How do you make money? Are you an advisor?
Yeah.
Are you a distributor?
The business model for end customer is freemium business model. Some of the customers will pay for the consultancy. Imagine big fleets, they will pay for the consultancy, of course, to switch to electric. And of course, there is a lot of cross-selling opportunities. Imagine a situation, every charger, every car, which goes through us as a channel, we get a small fee. Very simple.
Thank you, Rai.
Thank you.
Let's thank him with an applause. And you can take back your seats, and you can have your say on Voltia. Let's wait with the results for a second before we show them, but you can go ahead and vote. A few more seconds. Wait a second, we still have not so many voters, 42 voters, 45. Around 50.
It was not clear.
Come on, guys, vote. Make your voices heard. 60, I see. Let's give it another few seconds so that we reach a good number. Okay, I think that the voters have stopped. We're at 65. That's fair enough. And now, if you have counted well, you might have noticed that we've had already 10 startups. But our jury had a problem because they received a very interesting proposal from a company which is from Europe, but not from the EU. It is a Swiss company. And that is why they decided that they would not be an official competitor tonight, but they would still invite them and let them pitch to us. And I'd like to invite... I'm sorry, I have Raphael Gindra, but that's not you. You're not Raphael. You're Melano, and you're speaking for Best Miles.
Yeah.
Best Mile from
Best
Switzerland.
Mile.
We will
Yeah.
still try to have you follow the same rules, even though you're not competing. So we will still have the 3 minutes, but I will be maybe a bit less nasty with you.
Thank you. So 2018, still no flying cars, perhaps one Tesla over our heads. So to compensate a bit the disappointment, let's speak about autonomous cars. The automotive industry is focusing on the development of these autonomous cars, so cars without drivers. And these smart robots will land on our roads in the next 18 months. So that's cool. But what would be even cooler is if we take advantage of the big incoming change to make the quality of life of citizens better and not just provide some advanced autopilot to cars. For this, mobility providers need to be able to offer shared autonomous taxi services and to have the necessary tools to operate and manage their vehicles in real time and remotely. At Best Mile, we enable the future of autonomous mobility by providing fleet optimization and management solutions for mobility provider. We provide an agnostic platform for the real-time coordination and optimizations of vehicle. Think about a taxi driver and think about all the decisions he has to take second after second. If the vehicle is autonomous, all these decisions have to be taken by a deported collective intelligence. And the decisions will be even better if this intelligence is omniscient. Our mission is really to send the right missions to the right vehicles at the right time. And to do this, we do supply and demand matching, routing, dispatching, ride sharing, but also things like energy management, maintenance, back office, and data intelligence. Our platform is built around algorithm and logical methods. But to bring a turnkey solution to our customers, we have also developed applications. The main one being the operator dashboard, which is really the control center for the operator. He has access to all vehicles, all missions. He can start and stop operations, discuss with people inside the vehicles if there is a problem, and many other things. We are B2B. This means that our customers are mobility service providers, meaning public transport operators, taxi companies, transportation network companies, and also new entrants like car manufacturers. Raphael and myself, we have founded Best Mile 4 years ago. We have really the chance to be supported by 4 other experts in the field of mobility to support the development of the company. And we are now a team of 40 team members based in Lausanne and in San Francisco. Thank you.
Okay. Don't go anywhere. Judges, any clarifications? Are we good? I mean, as I said, unfortunately, you cannot
We
be
are the +1.
an official. Yeah, you're the +1, exactly. Let's still give our audience a chance to say what they thought about your performance.
Thank you.
Can we switch to the vote? And it's going on. Don't get tired. We will have dinner afterwards. I mean, I'm also starting to get hungry. We're getting there. Please do vote. We are at 20. We don't have many voters. Maybe our audience realizes that it's not a real contestant, but your vote is still quite good. I see around 7 from here, 7.1, going up. Okay, now given that we could not make you part of this competition, we decided to give you a special mention award for a non-EU country. We still hope that one day your compatriots will change their minds, but until then, I'd like to invite Gilles Bibet to give you the special mention for a non-EU country for your participation. Gilles Babinet, I'm hearing that I mispronounced your name. They're very strict with me in the back there. You know, they're shouting whenever something goes wrong. Thank you very much. I will now invite the judges to go and deliberate on what they have seen. You guys stay. It's only the judges who are leaving. We will give them about 15 minutes to think about what they just saw. As I told you before, they know the files already, but now they will take into consideration also the pitches. And as the judges go out to debate and I'm assuming there will be some very difficult arguments and conversations there. So as they make their way out, as I said, we will have 15 minutes. And during those 15 minutes, I'd like to invite 2 successful scale-ups to join me on stage. We have Paulin Desmontants, founder and CEO of Drivey. Are you here? Please come and let's give him a round of applause. And we have Damien Bon, CEO of Stewart. Please join us as well. We have a bit of motion in the house, judges leaving, partners coming up. Have a seat. Nice to meet you. We were supposed to have also the co-founder of Taxify who had to cancel last minute. Hi, welcome. Ladies and gentlemen, in 15 minutes from now, we will know who the winners are. These are critical moments, so we will talk basically until our judges come back, but we won't give them too much time. We're going to try the 2 microphones and see how it works. I'll give you this one, and I'll give you that one. And I'd like to ask each of you to tell us a little bit about your scale-up, your success story. You've already made it. I'd also like to mention, that you also agreed to be part of the prize family, so that when the 10 startups, or 11 startups actually, including the Swiss one, will travel around Europe. Yeah, can we have some order in the room, please? Those 11 startups will travel now around Europe. They will go and present their technologies in different cities, and you agreed to be kind of big brothers. You're not going to follow on their phone calls, but you're going to be big brothers that are going to hold their hands and help them when they're in need. But maybe before you tell us about the kind of advice that you would potentially give them, tell us how you made it. Let me start with you.
So hi, I'm Paulin. I'm the founder at Drivey. So at Drivey, we're building a network of shared self-service cars in Europe's main cities. So our target customers are car-free people who move by public transport, bike, and etc. inside the city during the week, typically, and who can locate a car nearby within walking distance on Drivey and open the car with their mobile and then get going for a few hours or a few days to get basically outside the city. And we crowdsource our fleet of cars, both from private people. This is where we come from originally, so the peer-to-peer model, where private people offset their cost by renting it on Drivey. And also now, as we start really scaling much faster, we have businesses joining the platform and professional fleets also make joining Drivey and doing car sharing on Drivey. And basically, our mission is to build something so convenient and ubiquitous that we have a much better product than car ownership because it's super convenient, walking distance, and then you don't need a car anymore. And we plan to be one of the handful of apps that can do any use case to move you by car, and especially with connected and autonomous cars, we think the market can grow 100 times bigger.
Okay.
So then, in terms of startup, we are now we started in. I launched the company in 2010 out of Paris, and then we grew to 6 countries. We are now a bit more than 100 people, with offices in Paris, London, Barcelona, and Berlin. And yeah, we first had the peer-to-peer phase where we build the proximity, then really the technological phase where we build the self-service access to cars, and now it's all about scaling with a lot of countries, a lot of the marketplace accelerates with professionals also joining the platform, which gives another momentum.
So you're still growing.
Yeah, and hopefully we will.
Okay, Damien, tell us a little bit about Stuart.
So Stuart is an on-demand delivery platform connecting on one side businesses, on the other side couriers, with basically the view of accelerating the way goods are transported in cities. With businesses, we work with a wide variety of verticals. We essentially work with food restaurants, grocery players, people like Carrefour, Franprix, Monoprix, Sainsbury's, Dia in Spain, and as well as fashion retailers, sport retailers, brands like Decathlon. And we allow them basically to offer same hour, same day service by connecting them in real time to a fleet of independent couriers. So we started in 2015. We are now operating in 3 countries in Europe, France, Spain, and the UK. We are opening more and more cities every month. We are now in 15 cities, in 30 cities by the end of the year. And that's essentially Stuart.
Okay. Do you already know what kind of advice you would want to give them? Because we heard before by some of the advisors like the Boston Consulting Groups and VID, but you guys did it yourself, so you can really feel how they felt back then. You're not giving an advice to someone who's going through a different path, but you've done it, you felt it. Maybe tell us, how does it feel to be them tonight? Have you done similar competitions when you were in your earlier stages?
I was much less connected, and I didn't have this kind of structure. So I think it's first, it's a great chance to have such all the incubators, all the money investors. The ecosystem in Europe is much better, and this kind of prize is a great initiative to bring everybody together and give visibility to startups. So I wish I had this back when I started.
And Damien, do you have an idea what kind of advice you would want to share?
I think that mobility is very, a lot of things have been said today, but mobility is a very particular space to innovate in the sense that you don't create new mobility needs or desires, You don't change the origin or destination of goods or people. You'd rather change the way goods or people are transported. So I think the hook of any entrepreneur in the mobility space is around, lowering the cost of transport, bringing more convenience or more safety, as we've heard today. But I really believe that if there is one real competitive advantage, it's around sustainability. I think we need to lower the cost of our planet, because by doing that, first, I think users are more and more sensitive to the fact that there are huge potential negative consequences associated to climate change, but also focusing on sustainability and lowering, the use of resource mean ultimately an economic competitive advantage as well, because energy prices are going to rise no matter what, because we are more and more users and more inhabitants in cities. So I think focusing on sustainability is the only basically long-term competitive advantage in the mobility space. So I would really encourage everyone to focus on sustainability. The second advice I would have is definitely, we talk about involving...
Sorry, that would be an advice for maybe the future startups, but for those who exist, they're not going to change their technology. So those are already on their path.
No, well, try to identify how technology, again, can bring, again, from point A to point B, lowers the amount of resource that is used. So, and the second advice would be involve all stakeholders in the value chain. We heard that today, involve public authorities, involve governments. But I think the tricky thing is that, even though we've heard, plenty of good things on, yes, we're going to change the regulatory framework, etc., etc., I don't think governments are still ready to hear about, to change the legislation based on PowerPoints. So, at the end of the day, you just need to act, involve them early, but, do your half, defend your beliefs, show that there is, product, a need, and in parallel involve, the legislator, but it's going to take time. And they will only react once you're big. So I'm not saying, you should do things completely as, and not trying to follow rules. I'm just saying involve, but, the fact that the discussion with public authorities, they take time. So in the meantime, don't wait, again, defend your belief. We all have one belief, I think, is that we need to change the way goods or people are transported, again, to have a more sustainable mobility. And I think, government will, again, then go in your direction. But, if you just wait for them to change the legislation, it's a chicken and egg situation. It's not going to...
You're talking a lot about the public authorities, and there are many of them represented here in the room tonight. I mean, what are the big expectations that you have as an entrepreneur from those public decision makers at whether local, national, or European level? We're in Brussels, we're in the capital of Europe.
Well, I think the main challenge, again, is that, technology opens new areas. It gives potential chance to new players to play in the mobility field, but you have existing players. And existing players, mobility is a huge industry, so you just can't also regulate in favor of new technological company without taking into account the interests of the entire industry in the mobility space. So I think it's again, everyone should sit around the table saying, here's an opportunity of, partnering big industrial groups with, small startups. How do we make sure in being, understanding that basically the future is going to be challenging on the environmental side to see what solution we can bring together for a better world. I don't think we should oppose, again, technological players, startups to, industry groups. I think the interest in combining the saying that we both need to change, again, the way mobility is currently tackled in Europe.
Paulin, you wanted to add?
Yeah, we have a huge. I think there is a huge barrier in Europe to having more scale-ups is to have a more uniform regulations generally. So
across
if I take
the EU, you mean?
Yeah, across the EU. So if I take just in our case, we cannot operate in Italy because you are not allowed to have a car that is both private and rented. We were sued in Germany. We were sued in Austria. So that's just for the right to exist. Then
because of differences of laws. And
of laws around registrations of cars. Then around fiscality, we have one discussion. We have 10 discussions per country with each of the ministries and commissioners and etc. And it's a pure nightmare. So even though we are 100 people company, we need to hire public affairs people already very soon, which is way too soon for a company of our size. So all what's around the sharing economy is still, there is debate and content again and again, but honestly no clear path to make it simple. And then on parking space in cities, we also have huge hurdles here. So really scaling, when I compare to our Chinese and US competitors, we do have really much harder hurdles to pass to be able to be a European scale-up.
Because the market is still fractured.
It's extremely fragmented in terms of regulations.
Okay, I think I see Karima in the room. Is that a sign that you are ready to continue? Okay, I'm seeing some yeses. But before we continue and announce the winners, I invite Karima to join us because she would like to give you another special mention award for European scale-ups that have made it. Karima, are you ready to join us? So congratulations for this special award. Taxify is not here with us tonight. Unfortunately, they had to cancel in the last minute, but they will receive their prize. You have mics here. Karima, don't break the award. Okay, don't get too comfortable. You're giving the award, and then we're going to announce the winners. I'm also nervous. Okay, so we're taking a picture with the awards, and congratulations, music. Our queen of startups have asked for music. We'll give her music, and we will congratulate them. We have Mathieu Collet, who will represent Taxify to take the award for Taxify. So thank you for taking their award. You can maybe join us for another 1 second for the picture. Karima, restez avec nous pour la photo avec monsieur. On va prendre la photo et on va continuer. Okay, thank you very much, and congratulations to the winners for scaling up and for your award tonight. I also want to be in this picture. Wow. All right. Thank you very much. Karima and Frédéric, you're staying. Do we have the judges back? Do we?
3 minutes.
3 minutes. Okay. And what am I supposed to do for 3 minutes now? A little dance. 3 minutes and being told, okay, this is my moment of stressful moment. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'll take out the earplug here. All right, how are you all doing? This was an interesting experience, wasn't it? All right, 3 minutes. Judges, please don't keep me on this stage for too long. We are all waiting anxiously, especially the startups here, for your results. I don't know if you want to give us... No, we already gave the latest scores. Yes, tell me. Okay. They're feeling sorry for me. They said we can have a 3 minutes pause. Don't go anywhere. Stay in your seats. Have a drink. Relax. And we'll see in a moment when they come back. As you can see, it's the first edition of this award. Not everything went exactly as we planned. But the big moment is about to arrive. And I'm actually going to enjoy these 3 minutes. Don't go anywhere. Excuse me. Okay, we're back. I'm being given a lot of information, but we're back. The judges are here. They seem to know what they want to say. Okay, we're not going to stress our startups any longer. We're not going to confuse me any longer. We're going to move ahead. Karima, let's start with you. Please come on stage. We're going to start bringing one by one the judges in order to start giving the prizes. The first one I'd like to invite on stage is Edward Arkwright, Chief Executive Director of Group ADP. Please join us. Fabrizio Rogero from Europcar. Oh, I'm sorry. You know how many names I had to memorize for tonight? I have Francesco Scudone. Am I correct? From Grimaldi. I didn't make a mistake. And the last one, Catherine Leboul-Proust from GRDF. You will each give one of the prizes. The prizes are not in any order. There's not first, second, third, fourth, but there are 4 different prizes. How do you want to do it? Let's start. We have a microphone. Edouard, you're going to announce the first one.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Edouard Arkwright, the Deputy CEO of ADP. ADP is an airport operator in Paris, but also in 20 countries around the world. 250 million passengers each year, and maybe you. So airport is a perfect place for connectivity, for mobility. You have high-speed railway, you have regional railway, you have bicycles too, you have planes, of course. You don't have boats, but you have a lot of vehicles. And we are very, very happy to be here. Congratulations to Karima for this great idea, and congratulations to all the startups. Huge debates in the jury, and I'm very proud to give the first prize. And this one is for Cocolis.
Cocolis from France. You are our first winner tonight. Congratulations, félicitations, bravo. Okay. Please stay on stage and I'll invite the next judge. There we go. Okay. Congratulations. I'll get out of the way.
Bonjour, goedenavond. My name is Sheila Struik. I represent the business unit New Mobility for Europcar. You know Europcar today because you need a car when you go on holiday. We are worldwide. But tomorrow we want you to sell your car because you can use all of the mobility service. We believe we want to be an alternative for car ownership. And that's exactly why I'm very proud to present the prize to MAS.
That was MAS. Can they join us on stage to receive the second prize? Congratulations. That was from Finland. Congratulations. We'll give them another second to take a photo. You can stay on stage. Can we get the third prize, please?
Good afternoon, good evening. Gianfranco Dell'Alba. I am proud to represent here Studio Grimaldi that I've joined recently after a large experience in the Brussels bubble, after as member of the European Parliament and recently as a director of a Confindustria office here in Brussels. Studio Grimaldi is a law firm established in 4 countries with more than 150 lawyers, and the Brussels office mainly focuses on EU law and EU affairs. And we have a large experience on mobility, especially towards innovative solutions, and we are very happy to support, in particular, startups active in this field. Therefore, it's a great pleasure for me to give the prize to Klaxit.
Klaxit. Congratulations. Merci, merci, merci. Gentil. Okay. All right. Our 4th and final prize for tonight, Madam. Please stay on stage. Stay on stage.
Alors, I'm going to sustain the suspense. And first of all, I would like to give a very warm thank you to Karima Delli for this very innovative initiative. Thanks.
Queen of startups.
Very big applause. Donc, my name is Catherine Leboul-Proust, Head of Strategy at GRDF. GRDF is a national distributor in France of natural gas and more of renewable gas. We are experiencing a 3D revolution, digitalization, decentralization, and decarbonation with turning our model from fossil gas to renewable gas, up to 100%, we hope, soon, one time. So to address this revolution, we need innovation, we need startup, and we are very happy and proud to be partner of this prize, which is very useful to connect us with new talents in mobility. So the final prize. I'm going to sustain a little more the suspense. Just to give a word on the prize. It was designed because it was designed by one GRDF employee who has created it in our gas lab in the south part of France, in Cannes. You know that in Cannes there's a famous festival of movie. So it's a mix of Cannes Festival and the flame of renewable gas. So
we can't take it anymore. Tell us.
The winner is Cargonex.
Woo! Please come on stage. Please come on stage. And I'd like to invite all the contestants and all the judges to come on stage as I'm flying my toy to take a nice video.
Please, now I would like to invite my co-founder, Joël Hazan. Come with us, please. Jean-François, Vieille, come with us. All of the jury, come with us, please. And the finalist of this first edition of the European Startup Prize, please. Don't worry, it's just a drone. Alors, on va avoir une des photos de groupe par le drone. Wow.
We want all the judges and all the participants on stage for this picture. Only from a drone we can see all of us.
Next to me. Okay? Are you ready?
1.
Look, the drone, please.
Everybody, let's do it again. Hands in the air. 1 second, 1 second. Hands in the air. And we have it. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience. You've been a wonderful audience. I'd like to invite all of you to join us for a nibble downstairs. Please drive carefully, especially if a human is driving you home. Do stay, do network. Thank you for being with us tonight. Stay with us a bit longer.
Please, another photo.
Have a wonderful night.
With partners. Come on. A finalist. Yes, great. Startup Sésame, come with us. Are you ready? And my team, please. Maggie, Émile Meunier. Il est où, Émile Meunier? Il est là.
The people behind the prize.
Emmanuel, Grégory. Come on, please. Attention, 1, 2, and...
Wait a second, I need to turn the camera
Wow.
back. Wait a second, I'm a new pilot.
The godfather of this prize, Mr. Mazella, come on, please.
Wait a second,
Quickly,
wait a second.
Maggie.
Wait a second.
Emmanuel, come on.
Okay,
Come on, everybody.
we have it.
Are you ready? 1, 2. On dit 1, 2, 3 et on lève les bras. Lève tes bras en anglais. 1, 3. Yeah!
Woo!
Congratulations.
And throw your awards in the air. No, please don't.
That's right. Thank you.